Today's show is brought to you by Lovable. Here we go.
It's a packed house at Take tonight. 3 players will be streaming Title Tuesday from the offices. It's a watch party vibe with kids, pizzas, and, of course, the best kind of chess action. Coming up, stay tuned for Game Week 2 in the Winter Split. And here we are. Welcome to the Take studio as well, you guys. We are getting ready for Game Week 2 in the Winter Split. And today is a massive opportunity for players to stack up some important points on the Champions Chess Tour leaderboard. Welcome to our show. We are getting ready, and you might notice there is a change in the studio. You're used to seeing Grandmaster David Howell in this chair, but he is busy commentating on freestyle chess in South Africa. So in his chair, I have my good colleague Lucas Rinaldi, a FIDE master from Norway. He's going to be head of commentating and taking us through and guiding us through the chess moves in Title Tuesday today. Are you good, Lucas?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah?
It's great to be here. I'm very much looking forward to doing this.
Usually you take care of like daily operations in Take, the company. Is it nice to get a break from the desk, from your Excel sheets, from just the endless to-do list, and actually talk some chess?
Yes. It's a lot of fun actually to get to do something a little bit out of the ordinary once in a while. I was streaming last week and now this, so a lot of fun the past couple of weeks.
Yeah. Now, Lucas is a very competent chess expert with a rating. I checked this before the show. A Blitz rating on Chess.com of almost 2,800. And he scored 6 points in Title Tuesday last week. He even played Alexander Bortnik. And an extremely exciting game, Lucas. Massively better. It ended in a draw. What was it like?
It was a lot of fun, and difficult to play against the top guys. I did have a very promising position, but he ended up, what can I say, tricking me a bit in the end. Nevertheless, still a decent result. So, okay, happy with that.
Sounds like a chess player.
Yeah.
Do you think it's easier to be here, to commentate on the chess, to guide our viewers through the action on the board, rather than playing yourself?
Yeah, I would say so. I think it's definitely easier because when you're streaming, you have to play yourself and commentate.
Yeah.
Now it's only the commentary part, so it feels a little bit more easy.
All right. Well, Lucas will be breaking down the critical moments for us tonight. Now I'm going to break down the big picture for you guys, what it's all about, qualifying for the Esports World Cup. 13 spots in total. Magnus Carlsen, he is the reigning EWC champion, and he is directly qualified to next year's tournament in Riyadh. Also, the top 3 players from the Speed Chess Championship and the top 3 players from the Chess.com Global Championship will each go directly to Riyadh. But then every single week in Title Tuesday, the top 10 players score points in the Champions Chess Tour. And at the end of the season, it is the top 6 players in the Champions Chess Tour that qualifies for the Esports World Cup with a prize fund of $1.5 million. And let's take a look at the current Champions Chess Tour standings. We are done with one split, the fall split, and Magnus Carlsen is on top of the standings, but since he is already qualified for EWC, it is the 6 spots below him that right now count. Hikaru is in a good place. Alireza Fruja is also in a good place. Now, Title Tuesday is played across 3 splits: the autumn, the winter, and the spring split. Each split has 13 game weeks, and today we kick off game week 2 in the winter split, where it's not only Champions Chess Tour points at stake, also the top 8 players in the winter split overall qualifies to the Chess.com Global Championship, where, remember, top 3 goes directly to Riyadh. So much at stake every single Tuesday. And let's take a look at the standings in the winter split. We're only in game week 2. Magnus won last week, meaning he has 10 points and he is currently on top of the standings. 10 minutes to go until the start of game week 2. Will the players have signed up?
We have Bortnik.
Right. Yeah, Bortnik is there, your nemesis after last week. We see some good names on this list. Now, it's called Title Tuesday because it requires a title to play. If you have a FIDE title, you are welcome to play Title Tuesday, whether it's Grandmaster, FIDE Master, Candidate Master. And as a FIDE Master, Lucas, what is it like to every single week have the opportunity to play Magnus, Hikaru, the top guys?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Especially as a FIDE master, you never get the chance to do that. It's like the only place where you can actually play someone that's good, and it happens quite often actually. If you have a bit lucky pairings, so a lot of fun. I always try to play when I can.
Fantastic. Let's jump into the Title Tuesday stadium, the pitch, if you like, because it is this. It is the world that is our arena every single Tuesday. Players logging on from all over the globe. I see Ali Reza Farusha. He came 3rd in split 1. Will we see him fight for points today? Hikaru Nakamura, he is waiting for the birth of his first child these days. But let's hope he plays game week 2. And then, of course, you see a bunch of players, some big names gathered in South Africa for the freestyle final. Some of them might join us today, though, because some quarterfinals have finished. But Lucas, is there any chance we will see Magnus in Title Tuesday today?
No, unfortunately not. Magnus did, after losing the first game in freestyle chess, he did come back against Fabiano, meaning they will play a tiebreak. So no, we're not going to see him play today, but we might see some other players from freestyle chess.
Yeah, he lost that first game in the quarterfinal match to Fabiano Caruana, making a blunder that even made him laugh. He lost the game. He made a huge comeback in the second game.
He did, yeah. It's great to be able to win with black on command when you have to. So that was great. Unfortunately, that means we don't get to see him in Title Tuesday.
It does mean, but that also means it's a huge opportunity for other players to stack up points and take a look at this. Here we are in the Take studio, and we have 3 guests in the building. Torstein Ba will be streaming from Magnus's 2882 streaming room. We have Jose Martinez in the Dave Cave and Jose Ibarra in our 3rd streaming room. All right. It's nice to have a packed office, I have to say.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Lots of things happening every week, and especially today.
Yeah. Now we're going to dig a little bit deeper into the guys sitting below me in the Dave Cave. Grandmaster Jose Martinez from Peru, but he represents Mexico. Now he is in Oslo to show off his incredible skills in online Blitz chess.
I born in Peru, I'm Peruvian. On December of 2024, I changed my flag. I found my private sponsor who is helping me now this whole year. I'm living with a roommate in a city 2 hours away from Mexico City. It's a GM, and also he changed flag from Peru to Mexico. You have a mouse with cable? I prefer it with cable because I don't know, somehow fails these Bluetooth ones. Chess online is becoming harder. I don't see any single player who won entirely 11 rounds with a clear converting advantage, finishing the advantage. I never seen some guy. You need some sort of little luck. You need 150% of the energy that day. For sure, will be a dream if I qualify to the final Esports World Cup. For sure, it's a dream. for Mexico, for Latin America, for my sponsor will be amazing. Kramnik match was the most stressful thing in my career. He's a former world champion. He's one of the most important players of of the history from 1970. But still, I was confident that I will win that match. After that, he never mentioned me after that year, at least. I don't know how his mind works. I don't think like he believes everyone is cheating. It's more than he don't like how chess is going. I think in his mind he was one of the most important world champions in the world because he beat Kasparov, he brings a lot of amazing ideas, his style was amazing. But nowadays, nowadays it's Magnus, it's Hikaru, it's a lot of strong grandmasters of India. I think he's trying to bring attention in some way, and he chose a really aggressive way to do it. This is my point of view. When I realized like I could play good chess with that kind of pressure and environment and cameras and people looking at me, I know like I cannot like I can survive, I can adapt every single context or environment in chess tournaments.
Jose Martinez is ready to play Title Tuesday Game Week 2 in the Winter Split. So far, 223 players have signed up. 4 minutes left. Hikaru is there, you guys. That's awesome to see. But let's talk a little bit about Jose Martinez. First of all, a lot of talk about Vladimir Kramnik here. A former world champion who's been a lot in chess talks lately because of what happened to Daniel Naroditsky, of course. Jose Martinez has also been under fire from Vladimir Kramnik. There was this clash of claims. Can you just enlighten us? What was this about, Lucas?
Yeah, so short version is Kramnik accused Jose of cheating, I think after playing him in a lot of Title Tuesdays and online. And he challenged Jose to a match. And they played, and Jose beat him by quite a lot of points, as far as I can remember. And after that, he hasn't said anything more about that.
Yeah. Best way to silence your critics, to beat them. Now, you know Jose Martinez. You guys both played in the Under-18 World Championships in 2017. What do you remember from that?
I remember Martinez quite well, actually, from that tournament. The reason is that he won. He became the world champion in my group, and that was after starting with 1 out of 3 points. So he was actually doing very badly in the beginning. He was down on the low boards and struggling a lot, and then he just went on to win, I think, the rest of his games. So pretty impressive comeback.
Incredible, resourceful player, never gives up, a fighting player. What chances do you give Jose Martinez in Title Tuesday today?
I give him very good chances. As we've seen, when he plays in Title Tuesday, he's usually always at the top. We saw him almost win a Title Tuesday a few weeks ago. He came third. And he's, in general, just a very dangerous player, capable of beating anyone on a good day. And especially from the Dave Cave, as we know, it gives superpowers.
Yeah.
So let's hope we can see a little bit of that today.
Would be amazing. Now, who else should we watch out for today?
Yeah, so the next player I have on my list is Sina Movahed. Once again, it's one of these young kids who are just extremely dangerous. He came second in Title Tuesday last week. He's always giving Magnus a lot of trouble. He's beaten him a couple of times in the previous split. And always at the top once again. So let's keep an eye out for him.
And I do notice there is the wrong flag on Sina Movahed here. He's not from Turkey, he's from Iran. We apologize for that. But let's keep an eye out for Sina Movahed today. And finally, Lucas.
Finally, we have the one and only Hikaru. Magnus won last week, and this time Magnus is definitely not playing. So maybe this is Hikaru's chance. Let's see if he can win this time.
Golden opportunity. Who will win Game Week 2 in the Winter Split?
He's got some nice checks. There we go. He forks the Black King and Rook. He's about to deliver checkmate, and Anish gets the win. No, it looks like a big blunder from Andrei Sipenko. Oh, and Savian bails out. He takes that nice stalemate to end the game. Hikaru gets out of jail. And there we go. Queen's coming off the board. He's just a clear pawn up.
This is actually losing or not is a question. I mean, I'm also going to lose on time. I mean, it's just an impossible spot to be in.
And that is game over. Magnus takes the win.
Impossible spot to be in.
Magnus Carlsen, he scored 10 CCT points last week. He won Title Tuesday Game Week 1 in the winter split. Today is Game Week 2, and we're getting ready for pairings. Here we have them. Hikaru is going to start with the black pieces. Lasovic is here to play. MVL is here to play. Magzudlo is here to play after losing his freestyle quarterfinals. But we will follow Hikaru here in the first game up against a Chinese candidate master.
Yeah, let's have a look at this game. It starts out with a Queen's Gambit declined by Hikaru here. Very solid defense against the Queen's Gambit. His opponent here actually goes for something very aggressive. This is a known Gambit, but Hikaru decides to decline the Gambit. He plays very solidly instead by bringing out the bishop. And now we go into a position where white has a little bit more space with these two pawns in the middle. But black has some pretty active ideas for counterplay and some good squares for his pieces. For example, this square where the knight or bishop can come. This is what we see here. And now it's possible for white to either trade or keep developing pieces. He attacks the bishop here, so Hikaru has to think about that. So what we can potentially see in a position like this is that white ends up having, like, once we trade these bishops, this bishop can become a problem for white because it's on the same color as all the pawns. And this is a typical kind of situation where the bishop is not great, but as we can see, he's trying to bring it out here to make it more active, potentially attacking this knight. So Hikaru has to think about if that's something he has to avoid, because yeah, exactly. He does move that knight away, and without anything on this diagonal, it's not so clear if the bishop is actually good or not. But we'll see as the game develops. For now, it's just about getting the pieces out for both players. I expect pretty soon to see the rooks come into the game as well. This is a very nice move by Gehua, if that's how you pronounce it.
Gehua Wen, yeah.
Yeah. The reason is it's blocking out this knight. So the knight could have been annoying potentially here, getting closer to white's king, but now it's just never going to happen with this pawn controlling both those squares. And the knight is not that great here, actually. And we can see on the bar as well that white is doing pretty well here, and the opening hasn't been too successful for Hikaru. The plan is very clear now. White can, after moving this knight away, start advancing the pawn here and create a kingside attack. So it's actually a pretty uncomfortable spot to be in.
Yeah,
Hikaru.
Look at that. Much better already for Gehua Wen. He is a Chinese player, 31 years old, candidate master, with a FIDE rating of 2200, but on Chess.com, well, his rating is 2700, and he plays a lot of Title Tuesdays. Last week, he scored 5.5 points. He played 9 events in the autumn split, and his best result was 7 points. That happened in Game Week 7. Definitely a player capable with the white pieces to beat Hikaru.
I mean, you never know. We've seen Hikaru lose in round 1 and 2 before.
Yeah.
So it does happen, and he's playing very well here. Definitely better than any average 2200 rated player. So yeah, I would give him decent chances. He's playing pretty fast as well. Hikaru is a little bit up on the clock, but it's not much. And I would say still, white is... yeah, there isn't much risk in this position, I would say.
Slightly better now. It's all right. Hikaru, he seems to be getting into the mood. But Gehua Wen, he has some fans on social media. Do chat with us on YouTube, on Twitch, whether you're following on Chess.com or the Take channels. We love getting your messages, questions, comments, and let us know who you're rooting for at all times. Gehua Wen has some fans.
Yeah, and now we see... something quite typical for when the good players are in not so great positions, that they slowly over time neutralize the opponent's advantage. And now we can see the bar going almost back to equal. But I do like Gehua's strategy here. He's trading off these pawns potentially. His pawn could maybe be a weakness later in the game, and he ends up having almost no weaknesses at this point. And once again, there's not much risk. Hikaru is the one who has to be a little bit careful here with the king, which is quite open. And this pawn could be a problem potentially later on. And we can see actually Gehua going for the attack now, threatening this pawn. That's something Hikaru has to think about. He goes for the counter attack. That is very interesting. So his plan now is to either give a check here. That's a direct threat, but there's also all sorts of things to think about with the knight here threatening the pawn. The pawn is not able to take back because the king would be in danger. So that's one problem. The other one is potentially the knight jumping here, and those two pieces very close to white's king would be incredibly dangerous, and that's definitely what Hikaru's opponent is thinking about here.
Yeah, down to 1 minute 50 seconds. He has 1 minute less on the clock than Hikaru, the speed monster, Hikaru Nakamura. In Title Tuesday, players have 5 minutes each on the clock. There is no increment, meaning we often see red numbers on the clocks. We often see time trouble, scrambles, and we do see flagging. And we often see...
Oh, there's a blunder.
Oh!
Has he simply missed this move? I'm starting to wonder if that could be the point. There's also a check here, but that wouldn't be that good as far as I can see. The knight could block. Yeah, exactly. So Hikaru does take that pawn. But I don't expect this to be something that he missed, because he was thinking for quite a while, and it's something that a player of his strength would normally see. So now I'm... now it looks very good for Hikaru once again, also on the clock. This is going to be hard to come back from for Gehua.
He's struggling now with the white pieces against a legend in Title Tuesday. Hikaru Nakamura is getting off to a good start. And look at that, young Krzysztof Duda from Poland has already won after only 1 minute in his game.
Wow.
Incredible start for young Krzysztof Duda. We have some other big names playing today. Maxim Vagier-Lagrave is here. I saw Anish Giri playing for the second game week in a row. That's awesome. Bortnik is playing. And we have Jose Martinez in the house as well. And he is currently playing with the white pieces. His game is balanced. But this one will be a Hikaru win.
Yeah, it will definitely be a Hikaru win. He can actually now go here and threaten checkmate if he wants to. There are so many good options. It's also worth noticing that this king, though it looks a bit exposed since it's far out in the open, it's actually quite well defended by these two pawns and the knight. The knight is usually a very good defender of the king because it's hard to give many checks against the knight. Also, the queen, the bishop are both far away from where the action is happening now, and we can see Hikaru actually bringing up his pawn here and gives another check. With this pawn, he not only does he threaten to keep moving up, but he can also potentially start bringing out his other knight, and there are just too many threats here for Gehua to try to figure out. Now we can see that pawn coming up. Hikaru takes this with a check. He's now up a knight, and he also has a very strong attack. And there should be a bunch of different ways to win here. He can give a check with the pawn, with the knight. Yeah, I'm expecting Hikaru to finish quite clinically here. He's probably just thinking about how exactly is he going to do it.
Mate in one now.
Yeah, so the king has to move to the side, and then the queen would go here and give a checkmate.
Look
so
at that. It's a win for Hikaru Nakamura. Starting with the black pieces in Title Tuesday, game week 2 of the winter split, and he takes the first point. I think I saw a smile on Gehua Wen's face. Of course, it's big when you get to face Hikaru Nakamura. It ends with a loss for him. This is another one of the big names in Title Tuesday today. Maxim Vagier-Lagrave with the black pieces, massively better against Kononenko.
Yeah, so he is in full control of the position here now. He's up a rook for a knight. He's also up a pawn. His king is more active. and he's up on time. So unless we see a miracle, yeah, exactly. This is a Czech also attacking the knight. So Maxime is not going to have any trouble winning, and there he does secure the win.
I love how he celebrates this.
Looks very happy. He was getting bored of playing that endgame.
Not even like the slightest hint of a smile from Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, but of course, being one of the top players, he does expect to get a win in the first round, and that's exactly what he did. Same as Lazovic, same as Hikaru. Artemiev still playing. Max Udlu, bad day for him in freestyle chess, losing his quarterfinal against Javakir Sindero, but he starts out with the win in Title Tuesday. So the only top guy still fighting is Artemiev with the bar in the middle there. All right, that would be a surprise, especially if he loses.
It would, and actually we can see one of our power players for today, Muvahed, has actually lost in the first round.
Really?
Very surprising, yeah.
Okay, he came second last week, young Sina Muvahed. Bad start for him today. He has to make a comeback eventually. It's a win for Artemiev, probably some time trouble in the end there in that game. It's also a win for Anish Giri, Alexander Grishuk, Duda, who won his game after only spending a minute on his clock. How about our friends here in the Take offices? Jose Martinez. Let me see if I can find his game. It's a win for Jose Martinez in the Dave Cave.
Nice.
How about the other Jose, Ibarra? It's a win for him as well.
Great stuff.
And Torstein Ba streaming from Magnus's room. How did he do in the first round? A draw for him.
A draw, that's a good result for him.
It's a good, yeah, exactly. International master, Torstein Ba. These are pairings for round 2, starting right away.
Should we have a look at Hikaru once again?
Yeah, let's
go
do
for
it. Hikaru Nakamura with the white pieces in round 2 against Pakleza. We're going to find out who Pakleza from Poland is.
This is a guy I've actually played a lot online.
Master.
He plays a lot on Chess.com, and I faced him probably like 20 or 30 times.
Really? Okay, so what style is Hikaru up against here then?
It's a bit of an interesting combination, I would say. He plays sometimes quite positional, but he can also be aggressive and tactical. And the opening he does play here is quite true to his style. It's quite rare and not the most, what should I say, straightforward opening here with, I think he started with a perk opening where black kind of passively controls the center here, not too active in the beginning. And we can see Hikaru trying to exploit that with these two pawns going very directly for an attack here. But what quite often happens is that white can overextend and end up having a lot of weaknesses, and then black strikes back and starts attacking these weaknesses. So at the moment, it looks pretty nice for Hikaru, especially at this point. Maybe this knight is a bit stranded. It doesn't have anywhere to go now, so I think he has to protect this pawn, or sorry, the knight with the pawn. And then potentially Hikaru could just take the knight and we'll end up having a very weak pawn here for Pakleza. So yeah, good start for Hikaru.
Zbigniew Pakleza from Poland. He's 39 years old, a grandmaster with a FIDE rating of 2,500 on Chess.com. His Blitz rating is almost 3,000, 2970 last time I checked. He plays a lot of Title Tuesday. Last week, he scored 6 points, same as Lucas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
And he's struggling now, though.
He is struggling.
Holy cow,
a lot.
massively
He's in
better
big
already.
trouble. Yeah, we could see a very quick win for Hikaru now. That's a great rook sacrifice. Brilliant move. It's threatening mate. The only way to avoid it is to take the rook. Now the queen is going to enter. And, or the pawn. There are many wins. And yeah, this is now going to lead to mate. There isn't anywhere good to put the knight, so we might even see a resignation at this point.
They haven't even played 20 moves each.
There we go.
There it is. Wow, that's powerful from Hikaru Nakamura. Mate in 3 after 19 moves and spending 57 seconds. He wins in round 2 and goes up to 2 out of 2. We're jumping into another game here in round 2. Gzunka against Denis Lazovic. And this one is more balanced.
Yeah, this one is a lot more balanced. We can see a pretty even pawn structure here. It's symmetrical, and this is probably something that came from a Queen's Gambit or similar. The only difference is white does have the bishop here against black's knight and bishop. The question is the bishop pair really that good in this position? Because it's quite closed, and in some cases, it could be good to have knights in closed positions. And we can see these two knights doing a pretty good job here. We can now see the other knight trying to get around here, potentially backing up this other one and trying to take its spot a little bit later on. But yeah, this is a typical slow maneuvering game. I think Lazovic is for sure going to try to win this, but it's going to be hard, and white is very, very solid. So it's difficult to convert these positions as black.
Denis Lazovic from Belarus, the youngster who is just incredibly good in online speed chess. He won Title Tuesday Game Week 10 in the autumn split. And here he is up against Balázs Gazunka from Hungary, born in 1997, 28 years old, an international master called Chess Preceptor on Chess.com. And he didn't play last week, so this is the first time he plays in the winter split. And he actually only played one event in the autumn split as well. So he doesn't play that much Title Tuesday. Great to see him here today, up against Denis Lazovic. A win here would be amazing for him.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this move, queen to a3 in this position for him. That would attack this knight and the bishop. So it's a pretty dangerous threat. He does go for it, and has Lazovic blundered? He goes here with the knight, so getting out of the threat, but also attacking the queen and knight. So actually here, Gazonka does have the chance to take the knight or the bishop. I'm expecting taking the bishop to be the best move here, considering he actually has a strong advantage. But it's a good moment to take a think for him. That said, he is getting a little bit low on the clock, and that could be what Lazovic is hoping for here. He does go for the safe trade, and now we're going to see Lazovic probably try to win on time in the long run. This is still going to be a long game, potentially. It's not that easy for white to just trade off the pieces. Now the knight comes into the center. It's still, of course, very equal. Like in a classical game, you would probably never lose this with white, but in Blitz, anything can happen. And that is very surprising that he actually goes for kind of an attack here, opening up with this pawn. It does weaken the king a little bit, but it also frees up white's position. And maybe his idea is actually to attack the knight with a pawn and try to, at some point, get the bishop out, making it more active. Let's see what his plan is. Lazovic is trying to figure out a plan for how to try to convert this to a win, but it's tough.
His head almost inside his computer screen right now. Denis Lazovic is looking for how to win in round 2. Someone who did win in round 2 and round 1 was Hikaru Nakamura. It's his birthday today.
Oh,
wow. Of course, December 9th, Hikaru Nakamura. It's his birthday. Happy birthday to Hikaru. He definitely hopes to celebrate his birthday with a Title Tuesday win.
Yeah, and now what we see is that Lazovic has kind of forced this pawn to be on the same color as this bishop, which in a dream situation where you can trade off those two bishops, you have a very good knight, which could be standing here, for example, against a pretty bad bishop. So if Lazovic can get that and be up on time, he's going to have a very good chance of winning. The problem is, how do you actually do that? And if you can't trade off these bishops, you don't really have a clear plan with black. You're just like jumping around a little bit, hoping for something to happen. And it's hard to imagine something will happen. So he's just trying to find quick moves. And for white here, it's just about playing quick moves, not blundering anything. And if possible, try to trade off.
Oh, what's that reaction about?
Yeah, so the thing is, now he made a positional mistake. So by moving this pawn up, he actually allowed this bishop to get a very good square. And, how is he going to stop this pawn?
Will we see another queen on the board?
2 very dangerous pawns here. Yeah, it looks like he has realized there is trouble in this position. It's going to be very hard for him to survive this. He needs to bring his bishop back to try to stop this pawn, but now Lazovic is up a pawn. He still has this very dangerous pawn. He can just bring his king around like this, and it's going to be impossible for his opponent to defend. There's nothing to do. You cannot use your king in the defense because this other pawn would become too dangerous, and Lazovic wins.
Look at that. It's a win for Denis Lazovic. Oh, heartbreak for Kazunka. Also upset with himself. He did some good stuff in this game, but some blunders, and the Lazovic pawns just became too dangerous in this game. So 2 points out of 2 for Denis Lazovic.
Yeah.
All right. I am noticing several other cool games in this round. This is one of them. Magzudlu against Dang from Vietnam. All right, what are we seeing on this board?
Wow, this is an incredibly dangerous position for Magzudlu, I would say. His opponent has extremely active pieces. There are 2 rooks here, very close to White's position. Looking at this bishop, there's Black's bishop here, also keeping an eye on the king, and there are so many potential dangers. That said, Black's king is also in a bit of danger here, and look at the time. He's down to 14 seconds. He's going to have to start playing very fast, and unless he can trick Magzudlu last minute here, I don't think he's going to be able to make anything of this position. What he could potentially do here is, if he just sacrifices that 1 pawn, maybe he can try to bring his bishop down to give a check to the king, and that could potentially be very dangerous. So it's like something Magzudlu's opponent for sure has to look out for here. But I think Magzudlu is trying to just play it safe now, don't do anything crazy, and win on time. What he does here is a very good idea. It's just making simple threats and making his opponent think. And yeah, he's not going to have enough time. But now Magzudlu is getting pretty low on time as well. He needs to play a bit faster, otherwise he might be in trouble himself. But 14 seconds against 2 seconds should be enough. Now maybe you give a check exactly. Then he needs to think about that. Oh, is it mate? He wins on time.
He wins on time. 0-0-0 on Zondang's clock. He loses to Param Magzudlu in round 2. So that's 2 out of 2 for Param Magzudlu, making a comeback in Title Tuesday after losing his freestyle quarterfinal earlier today. Round 3 is coming up. It's Klukin against Hikaru here in round 3. Lazovic against Arvin. Some big matchups here. MVL, Maxim Vachier-Legrave against Mitraba. But we have to follow the birthday boy, Hikaru Nakamura, turning 38 years old today. Up against an international master with an incredible Chess.com Blitz rating of 3,033. International master, Klukin, with the white pieces against the birthday boy.
Yeah, I can remember Klukin having played in the top a lot of times in this Title Tuesday split. Often against Hikaru, against Magnus, so he's a very strong player, someone to look out for. What we see here is a very classical Nimzo Indian defense by Hikaru. So what he does here is that he gives away the bishop pair for quick development, and all of his pieces here are solid. What he's planning to do now is bring the bishop out to the long diagonal here, and long term, White wants to keep the bishops, try to open up for them and play for an open position, potentially also gain more control of the center, whereas Black wants to stay solid, attack the center, and start trading off pieces a little bit later on. Now it looks like Hikaru wants to attack the center here potentially with a pawn. That's a pretty typical idea. He does trade first. So now this is something to keep an eye on for Klukin. Hikaru does actually go for a pretty direct exploitation of this bishop being a bit exposed. So he was able to take a pawn here. And now we can see the position is still rather equal, maybe even a little bit better for White. And what this means is that White has despite having sacrificed a pawn, white has very active pieces. This is a little bit clumsy for Hikaru, having to look after this knight, blocking this path for the bishop. And it's up to Klukin to try to do something direct and attack Hikaru while his development is slow. So at the moment, he has a lot of pieces still on the back rank, whereas Klukin has many pieces in good positions here and is only missing the rooks. There are some open files here, potentially. So, I like the chances for Klukin until we see that.
and
not
just
anymore.
when you say that.
Yeah.
Is this a blunder?
I wouldn't say
mistake, maybe.
Maybe it's like more of a missed chance or a mistake, because he probably had something good there to keep the pressure up on Hikaru. Then he didn't find it. He played this attack with a pawn, which didn't accomplish that much. Hikaru just went back with the knight, attacked the bishop, and actually gained some time now. So now he is going to try to get his pieces out quickly. The bishop can actually come here, attacking the queen, threatening the knight. And this is typically a situation where black gets the pieces out quickly, can trade some pieces, and the danger is over. He's suddenly up a pawn. And Klukin even has this pawn in the center, which, if it's not being used for an attack, for example, by going forwards, it often becomes weak, because Hikaru has the queen and rook on this file looking towards it, and that's a long-term problem.
Kirill Klukin from Serbia. He's 25 years old, an international master who does very well in Title Tuesday in Gameweek 6 in the autumn split. He scored 8 points.
Wow.
This is a tough opponent for Hikaru Nakamura, but Hikaru seems to be on fire today. He's been playing some really good chess. Even if we're only in round 3, he is better in this game.
Yeah, Klukin is a typical opponent who could have been very dangerous if he had found the correct moves there a couple of moves ago. But now Hikaru should be in control, and I don't think he's going to have very big problems converting this. That said, he is thinking for quite a while here, so obviously there is something that he is worried about.
He is almost 1 minute down on the clock. We are not used to seeing Hikaru Nakamura down on the clock, and the evaluation does not like his knight move.
Yeah, I think the problem is that maybe Klukin can push his pawn either now, or maybe he does something else first. But if he can do that and open up for all of his pieces, it can potentially become a little bit dangerous here, because this bishop, if it gets there, suddenly the rook is almost trapped, and there's a lot of things to think about. And this move is also very good because it attacks this rook. There isn't a very nice way of defending it, because you don't want to move it off this file. That's what he did. But now it's less active than it was on this open file. But Hikaru didn't want to move his pawn up. That would have weakened his position. So now Klukin is trying to get his knight into the game, potentially wants to go here into an even more active position. But I think the main thing that he's thinking about now is pushing this pawn. So the question is just, when is he going to do it? Maybe now he does go for it. Now he can recapture either with the knight or the bishop. He goes for the knight. This has a very deadly threat here. If he can give this check, he would also attack the queen. That would be game over, but Hikaru is obviously going to see that. But now there's a lot of tactical ideas here in this position. Can he even go here with the bishop? Because you can't take it. If you take it, there's a fork. And if you don't take it, there are a lot of pieces under attack. So, maybe that's a dangerous idea.
Klukin is now better. It looks like he's actually streaming. He has been speaking. I want to check which language, if I turn on his sound. Unfortunately, we don't have sound from Mr. Klukin. Hikaru, however, can we hear him?
I wonder if I should have played Rook E8. It's too slow. There's also Rook C1. This is actually not trivial. Need to be careful here.
Not trivial.
Having a sip of coffee. Hikaru Nakamura, it is his birthday. He is turning 38 today. He will be hoping to win Title Tuesday for the 108th time. He is by far a legend in Title Tuesday. No one has won it more than him. 107 times. He has 45 second places, 32 third places. He scored 11 out of 11 2 times, and that is what Hikaru will be going for today. Victory and 11 out of 11.
Yeah, and Klukin is taking a long think here. And he doesn't find the move. I would say taking a think in that position is justified because it's a very critical moment. But I think he had something a lot more direct. Maybe it was actually this bishop idea, which would have created a lot of threats. Now he has actually blundered because Hikaru finds a tactical idea here. Sacrificing the rook for the bishop, but this eliminates the defense that this bishop was giving to the knight in the center. And now Hikaru is just going to pick up that knight. So he has 2 minor pieces for the rook, which is pretty much always a good thing.
And on his way to 3 out of 3, Hikaru Nakamura. Is there any hope for Mr. Kirill Klukin in this game?
There is hope because at the moment he is threatening to take this knight in the center, which would lead to equal material. But I'm expecting Hikaru to find a defense against that. So yeah, I don't think there's a big chance for Klukin here, but he has to hope for a mistake from Hikaru here, which I don't think we'll see, unfortunately.
He's also under the minute on the clock. 50 seconds now for Klukin against Hikaru.
Yeah, so what we saw on the previous move was that Hikaru didn't actually defend the knight, but he brought the rook here so that there were back rank mate ideas. And Klukin goes here with a pawn to defend against that. So now there's a bishop here. Is there a fork in this position maybe? He doesn't actually go for that. Maybe he was afraid that his king would be too open. But this this is very surprising that he goes for, because now objectively it's not that bad for Klukin. He's down a pawn, but other than that, it's pretty equal. There's opposite colored bishops, which is known for being drawish, especially if Klukin can trade off the rooks.
Well, I asked if there was hope for Klukin. There definitely was hope for Klukin. The game is back to balanced.
Yeah, the thing is, Hikaru is up on the clock, and I think that's probably why he went for this. He can play this on forever. He doesn't have to make any commitments. He can just go around with his rook and his bishop, maybe push a pawn at some point. There's just no way Klukin can finish the game in time unless he finds a trick, and this is going to be very hard.
Remember, there is no increment in Title Tuesday, and that means 21 second is trouble for Klukin, and it also looks like he's in trouble on the board. That eval bar is jumping up and down.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. Like, if this was a game with increment, it would be a very different story. Like, Klukin would have pretty decent chances of holding this to a draw, but now it's just not going to happen unless he can come up with something very special.
His clock is about to turn red, and Hikaru is massively better on the bar. Will we see another win for Hikaru Nakamura? Will it be on the board or will it be on the clock? Will we see flagging? Bar is back to balanced.
Wow, this is super exciting now because he actually does have... he had a pawn there for a minute, which could have become dangerous, but now it's just about the clock. Hikaru has to be faster, and Klukin is playing pretty fast. Now there's a bishop to think about here. Wow, Klukin is playing faster. He's actually... I wouldn't say outplaying Hikaru, but he's very fast, and now... Oh,
who's this going to be? 2 seconds, 1 second. Can Klukin make it? Will it be Hikaru? What's happening?
Hikaru wins.
For Hikaru Nakamura. He wins on the clock. Oh, look at that. Frustration from Klukin. He was close. He played incredibly fast. Mouse skills on Kirill Klukin, but it's not enough. Hikaru Nakamura takes it with less than a second left on his clock. That was a long game. It outlasted all the other games here that we can see on the list in round 3. And that means straight from time trouble to round 4 for Hikaru Nakamura. Yeah. Wow, drama. He takes the point. It is 3 out of 3 for Hikaru. We see a bunch of players are still on 3 out of 3. Hikaru is one of those players, and up against Narayan in the next one. But we're going to jump into this one. Another American. It's Sam Sevian with the white pieces against our in-house streamer, Jose Ibarra. who is a little bit out of center in the camera. Nice lighting, though, I have to say.
Definitely. Yeah, but he is also on 3 out of 3 points so far, and fighting in the top here. And we see an opening, looked like an English opening here. Black has a very far advanced pawn here in the center. Sometimes this is good if he can protect it and use it to get more space for his pieces, but it can also become weak. And actually, we see neither happening. So Sevian just immediately attacks the pawn in the center, and Ibarra has to trade it off. So the pawn is gone. Now you could say maybe white has a slightly weaker king because this pawn is gone. But for now, it doesn't look like a big problem. And actually, Sevian is getting a bit of an advantage here. Now, exploiting this pin against the queen or on the knight and attacking the queen, there's a lot of tactical things to be aware of here for Ibarra. He has to move his queen. There isn't that much else to think about. He's probably considering, should he go back or can he maybe try to stay in the center? In that case, I'm guessing he would probably go there. Other than that, there aren't many options. Yeah, he does go all the way back. Now he has to recapture. So now he's getting these doubled pawns. It looks like this opening has actually gone pretty badly for Ibarra. These openings, or sorry, these pawns don't look very good. They're very easy to attack. They can never really defend each other. And the squares in front are quite weak as well. So the structure here, combined with the central advantage for Sevian, is what makes this position quite good for him.
Mm-hmm. Now let's talk about our guest streamer at Take today, Jose Carlos Ibarra from Spain. He's 40 years old. He brought his family here, his 2 sons, Lucas and Eric, and his wife. That was amazing to have them here having some pizza, enjoying some chess. They told me they were going to a reptile park before Title Tuesday started. So that's super cool. But this is a grandmaster who, with a FIDE rating of 2550, but online Blitz is truly where he shines, Lucas.
Yeah, he's incredibly strong in online Blitz. We see him almost every Tuesday, somewhere close to the top of the leaderboard. We've seen him lead Title Tuesday before. So yeah, he can beat almost anyone on a good day. And excited to see if he can pull something good off today.
Yeah.
He's off to a good start, although he is in trouble in this game for sure.
Definitely. Now, he did play Title Tuesday last week as well, scored 7.5 points. Really, really good stuff from Jose Ibarra. And his best score from the autumn split was an 11th place. So close to being top 10 and scoring Champions Chess Tour points. But he can still do it in the winter split, up against, of course, Sam Sevian, an American, one of the best American players, and we see him quite often in Title Tuesday. Super focused here and massively better, Sam Sevian. Yeah, this looks incredibly dangerous. He actually just goes for an immediate attack here with a pawn, looking to get open or get the diagonal open for his bishop. So now he's actually potentially threatening the knight with a bishop. I think that's what he's up to. And Ibarra attacks the queen. The queen has to move. What is Ibarra going to do now? He has a lot of problems with getting out his pieces. He is trying to get his bishop out and getting his king to safety. But as we can see, Sevian is already on the attack. And it's very hard for Ibarra to actually get developed in time here. Can we maybe see him now bring up the queen to attack the knight? That would be very dangerous. Oh, and Sam Sevian raises his eyebrows. Is he surprised about something? Yeah, looks like it. Maybe, yeah, he just goes for developing his bishop instead. He doesn't go for the queen move that I was talking about. Not sure what he is surprised about, but yeah, at this point, the thing is he can play aggressively against this knight on the side, or he can just play this long term and try to exploit the weaknesses that Ibarra has on the king side with these pawns. And there we finally have Jose Ibarra on camera from the Take offices, streaming to his Spanish fans. I think he's streaming in Spanish. Meanwhile, Sam Sevian from the US, 25 years old.
Yeah.
And massively better on the board.
Yeah, I think this is one of these positions that are difficult to come back from. That said, the position is kind of open. He does have some chances with his rook, bishop, and knight on the queen side there. If he can get them into active positions and try to trick his opponent, there is, of course, chances. They're both pretty low on time here. There's a lot of potential things that can happen here still. It seems like it's going to be a long game, so maybe it can end up being decided on the clock.
Sam Sevian has ticked under 2 minutes on the clock. Now I see the black position, Ibarra's position, of course, the bishop very locked in, the queen is locked in. Maybe hard to move the pieces, but his king looks very safe, I have to say.
Yeah, so the thing is, it's potentially safe, but now we can see the problem with these double pawns is that the squares in front are quite weak, and actually Sevian now can bring his queen onto the same diagonal as his white bishop, and that would actually threaten checkmate, and is not a nice threat to face for Ibarra. He does actually do that. Now he is threatening checkmate. The only move Ibarra can play here is moving up the pawn. So stopping that checkmate by blocking the queen's path. Now Sevian brings up his knight, trying to attack that pawn. That's the problem with moving the pawn forwards. Maybe Ibarra is considering to take that knight, but if he does that, suddenly his king is going to be extremely weak again. So I don't think he can actually do that. And if not, the knight is going to enter. So yeah, very difficult position now to get back from. As we were talking about Ibarra maybe being able to fight back, it now looks very difficult. That said, I do like that move by him, because if he can trade off the queens, then white doesn't have as strong of an attack anymore.
So that's what Ibarra is, yeah, look at that.
Yeah, he does go for that. So he's able to trade off the queens, which I would say is a win for Ibarra in a way, because then he's actually not getting checkmated. That's always a nice thing when you're in trouble. And then he just has to try to fight his way back from this position.
And it is getting uncomfortable on the clock for Sam Sevian. He is under the minute left on his clock. Ibarra with some good recent moves. Can he fight back in this game? He should play fast though, take advantage of the clock.
Yeah, he has to do that. I think that's Ibarra's only hope. And here with 1 minute, or actually less than 1 minute for Sevian, there is some hope. I would say this is possible to come back from, especially with no increment. And this is the type of position where if you don't give checkmate pretty soon, pawns can start falling and black can get active. So this is a very critical moment. What Sevian is trying to do now is bring his rook across. He doesn't actually do that. I'm very surprised that he didn't go for that idea, trying to check the king and start an attack. Instead, he is focusing on his passed pawn here. So he picked up another pawn from Ibarra. And now, let's see, can he get this pawn here into the action?
Aha. That looks dangerously close to becoming a queen for Sam Sevian. Ibarra is fighting but struggling on the board.
Yeah, now he's struggling a bit on the clock as well. Half a minute each, but these 10 seconds in difference are quite important.
Yeah. Lasovic is on 4 out of 4. Hikaru Nakamura in a winning position in his game, about to go up to 4 out of 4. Sam Sevian and Ibarra can both go to 4 out of 4 with a win in this game. And now the clock is red. He resigns. Yeah. It's over. Jose Ibarra, he won 3 games in a row, but in the 4th one, he loses to Sam Sevian, the Grandmaster from the US, who celebrates like crazy. Was that even a yawn?
He's obviously very happy.
Yeah.
No, but instructive idea in the end here by Sevian. It's sometimes difficult to promote a pawn against a rook, but here by blocking with the knight, there's actually no way to stop the pawn from moving in here, and it's also defending the knight. So it's a very nice way to finish the game here.
All right. It's a loss for Ibarra. Let's see if he can strike back. Some other games still happening, or is everyone finished? I can see Anish Giri has won his game in round 4.
Yeah, we have a couple of games at the very end of the time trouble here. Oh, it's a draw.
Wow. Why is this a draw?
Because Drozdovsky wins on time.
Yeah.
But he only has his king left, and this is very annoying for Sarana because he has checkmate on the next move, but he didn't make it in time. So he doesn't get the win. It ends up being a draw.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that must be so annoying. A dramatic
Very annoying.
ending there to round 4. And look at that. We are now seeing 11 players take the lead with 4 out of 4. Hikaru Nakamura, turning 38 years old today on his birthday, is one of those players on 4 out of 4. We are missing some other big names on that 4 out of 4 list, though, but Maxim Vachier-Lagrave, 3.5 points. That's a good score. Anish Giri is on 3.5 points. And how about our friends? Jose Martinez just played Ginger GM.
Oh, wow.
Wow, and he had a win. It was a win for Jose Martinez. He should then be on 3.5, or is it 3 points for Jose Martinez? Well, all right.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe we can get him into the standings here soon.
Jose Martinez. We do have 3 players streaming Title Tuesday from the Take offices today. Players will now have a short break. We're going to sum up the action so far.
Here we go.
All right, that was 4 rounds, Lucas. What's the verdict so far?
Lots of exciting chess. We've seen the favorites pretty much deliver here. Hikaru's had a very good start here on his birthday. Very convincing wins so far. He was in slight trouble in one of the games, but it felt like he was always in control. And other than that, we do actually see a couple of unknown names at the top here.
We definitely do. Some surprises. Could we see a shocking surprise win in Title Tuesday Game Week 2 in the winter split? Well, Magnus Carlsen isn't playing today. He is busy with freestyle quarterfinals in South Africa. But not too long ago, Magnus was in Oslo and he played classical chess for the first time in a while. That's a video you can see on the Take YouTube channel. Let's take a look at a small clip from that video.
It's big news, and I mean it's happened. It's happened before in the Norwegian League.
Little did Magnus know that this would be one of the craziest games he had played in a long time.
And if you want to witness that crazy game, you can find the full video on the Take YouTube channel. Magnus playing classical chess without any sleep and in his old high school alongside Lucas. You were also playing.
Yeah, I was also playing actually. I didn't do too well, but I had a lot of fun playing these games. I don't play classical very often, but I do play for the team that Magnus has, and it's a lot of fun that he actually shows up.
Incredible.
In these games.
Magnus Carlsen playing classical chess there. He's not playing Title Tuesday today, unfortunately, but that's a huge opportunity for the other players to bank Champions Chess Tour points and to get a win in Title Tuesday. Hikaru Nakamura is one of those players really, really hoping to win it today on his birthday. Now, before the action starts again in 1 minute, let's take a look at one of the highlights so far today in the first 4 rounds. This is our action replay presented by Lovable, and it was this game between Kirill Klukin and Hikaru. It was a cool game.
Very cool game. It went all over the place, like anything could have happened in this game. Klukin had a pretty strong advantage at some point, but then he blundered. As we saw in this position, the rook took the bishop and got out of the defense. And now we just got this crazy time trouble where Klukin almost was able to actually catch Hikaru on the clock, despite being down a lot on the clock earlier on.
And then eventually Klukin lost on time, a win for Hikaru Nakamura, and that was today's action replay presented by Lovable. Get ready for more Title Tuesday action. Round 5 out of 11 is coming up in a few seconds. Hikaru Nakamura on his birthday on 4 out of 4. Who will he face in round 5? Okay.
Oh,
good one. Yeah. Martirosyan
against
against Hikaru. White pieces for Martirosyan, black pieces for Hikaru. It's Lazovic against Shimanov. Some big matchups coming up in round 5. And Nishikiri is playing Title Tuesday for the second week in a row, but we will follow Hikaru Nakamura on 4 out of 4, hoping to score 11 out of 11 on his birthday. Here we go. This is round 5.
Yeah, let's see which defense he goes for here. He's been playing against this one d4, the queen's pawn, this move, in a lot of his games so far. We saw against Klukin that he played the Nimzo Indian. That's what he's going for here as well. Very similar start to that game. The point is, once again, that black gets quite fast development. And this is actually a line that I played a lot myself with black, where he goes for this, not the most common idea with taking with this pawn in the opposite direction of the center. But the point is that he has very good control of the dark squares. I expect him to probably move this pawn up at some point to get the bishop out. Then he's going to, later on in the game, going to try to push this pawn to challenge in the center. And usually these positions are a little bit better for white with more control of the center here, given that this pawn is kind of stepped out of the center. And his plan is probably going to be to play here at some point. But it's also very solid for black. So a typical good opening choice by Hikaru, I would say, not going into the main lines and keeping things interesting.
Exactly. Interesting is what we're looking for here. It's a game between Hikaru Nakamura and Haik Martirosyan from Armenia, 25 years old, a grandmaster with a FIDE rating of 26-25. His peak rating so far came in 2023 when he broke 2700, one of those super grandmasters. His nickname on Chess.com is Mickey Tarjan, and his online Blitz rating is 3,113, which is incredible. But when you look at Hikaru's Blitz rating, 3,406. Well, that's just incredible. And Hikaru Nakamura is fighting today to win Title Tuesday for the 108th time in his career. But right now, it is his Armenian opponent who is better in this game.
Yeah, his opponent is known to be very strong. He's usually always up there in Title Tuesday, and I've seen him in these Chess.com tournaments for ages, the last few years. And the position here is very solid for him. There aren't that many weaknesses. He has more control of the center. He can just play this, try to outplay Hikaru long term, but there's also not that much to actually try. And as we can see now, Hikaru breaks in the center. Now Martirosyan needs to figure out what to do about this pawn situation. He's probably just going to leave this for a while because you don't really want to take. Then Hikaru would just take back with a pawn, and you haven't really accomplished that much. So instead, he tries to bring his knight around, putting a little bit of pressure here. I think Hikaru has to be careful with moving this pawn forwards. Then it can become a weakness, as we've seen in a couple of the games earlier on here. But now, actually, this is a big threat, so the queen has to sidestep. This also puts pressure on the pawn in the center, so now Hikaru has to think about that. How does he defend the pawn? Is he going to move forward? I don't think he wants to take, because that would allow the knight to get into the center to a very juicy spot here with all sorts of threats. So he doesn't do that. He actually brings his pawn forwards, but now this pawn is a little bit weak, and he actually has to bring up another pawn to defend it. The problem is now, potentially, Hikaru's king can be a little bit exposed later on. And if Martirosyan can break open the position somehow here, he could suddenly end up having very good chances.
He definitely did well last week. He placed 5th, scoring 3 Champions Chess Tour points last week. Hike Martirosyan, a solid opponent here for Hikaru Nakamura. And he's causing some trouble already on the board.
For sure, and he does actually go for an idea that I was thinking about here, to open up with a pawn, trying to attack the center, force Hikaru to take, and now there's this weak pawn, and also if Martirosyan can maybe bring up his other pawn, it becomes very open, and Hikaru's king is getting into more and more danger. The problem with going for this idea with white is that you also slightly weaken your own pawns, and you have to be aware of that long term. It's a little bit risky compared to just doing nothing. But Martirosyan is playing very aggressively here and going for the win, so that's good to see.
We do like aggressive chess. He is better on the bar. Meanwhile, the quarterfinals down in South Africa have finished. It was a win eventually for Magnus Carlsen, knocking Fabiano Caruana down to the losers bracket. Also a win for Levon Aronian in the quarterfinal against Hans Niemann. But these players, they're fighting it out in title Tuesday, game week 2 in the winter split.
Yeah, and Hikaru doesn't look too happy. He's also spending a lot of time here. He's down half a minute on the clock. It seems like he's found a plan now, which is to sort of shift the game towards the king side here on the edge. He moved his queen and the rook out of this file, so he's definitely going to be playing towards Martirosyan's king here. I'm curious to see what he's going to do next. Is he going to try to double his rooks on this file at some point? At the moment, he actually needs to think about this pawn as well, which is potentially a little bit weak. It is an option to capture it now with the knight, but I don't think you want to do so, because maybe Hikaru can exploit this pin here, which would be available for him then. He might bring up his pawn, attack the knight. So once again, a critical moment here where Martirosyan needs to figure out what is he going to do. It's not so easy to find a plan, but he is definitely better here with many weaknesses for Hikaru.
And also better on the clock now, ticking down to 2 minutes, but Hikaru has less than 2 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, and I like this move that he played now with the king, just getting the king out of any potential danger on this diagonal, also kind of overprotecting this pawn so that it's never in danger. Now he's maybe going to bring his queen into the position, which would attack a lot of pawns, and Hikaru doesn't seem to care, but it's maybe something that Martirosyan will try here. Let's see what he does. He does actually go for that. Hikaru has to defend. He brings his queen back, defending both the pawns like this. And we see a lot of quick moves happening here now. It's all about the clock. Do not get too low on the clock here, because we still have a lot of pieces and many moves to be played. So as long as you don't blunder, playing fast is a very good idea here. Martirosyan, the first one to take a little bit of a think here after those very rapid moves. And I still like his position a lot, but he needs to pick up the speed. Where's the queen going to go? This is a little bit awkward because you don't actually... Yeah, you can't go here because it would have been trapped, potentially. So he goes here. Now the rook takes a pawn, gets the rook into an active position. Looks like the momentum here is shifting towards Hikaru slowly. But there's still a lot of chances here also for white. Now he brings his pawn up. I like this move. He is going to bring his knight into this very nice central square, which can keep jumping into Hikaru's position. It actually goes the other way instead. Oh, this queen is in danger. It's almost getting trapped. Can Hikaru at some point maybe like bring his rook around? This seems very difficult to play for white with little time on the clock, because you need to watch out for these threats, and you also have to play good moves.
Yeah, and it looks like those pieces on the back rank for black, Hikaru's pieces, the queen, the knight, the bishop, the rook, they're just like eyeing up everything from that back rank. They look super dangerous.
Yeah, they are very dangerous, and they defend everything, and they're creating some threats from the back rank as well. Actually, Martirosian had to sacrifice a pawn there to get the queen out, and now he's down 2 pawns, and he's also a bit defensive here with the queen and the rooks in the defense. So he's trying to get some counter threats here. Now he's bringing this knight back to jump into this square, this idea that I talked about previously, which would be quite annoying for Hikaru, which is why he is thinking here. He does bring the knight in, and he's defending this square with a lot of pieces. The eval bar is swinging all over the place here.
And the clocks are ticking. Both players under 30 seconds. What will happen? Can Hikaru Nakamura win this on the board, or will we see red clocks?
Yeah, I think Hikaru is close to winning this on the board as well. He's very solid here with this good knight in the middle of the board. He's also up material. White's and Hikaru finds a tactical trick. There was a blunder there. Now this is a check, and the queen will fall. So now it's, he's playing for time here, Martirosian, but I don't think that's going to work, unfortunately.
Since it's also down on time. Yeah. 7 seconds, and there it is. A win for Hikaru Nakamura.
I was too good in the scramble there. So we got the win, 5 out of 5. Let's keep rolling.
I was too good in the scramble. I like it. Hikaru Nakamura on fire on his birthday. This is still round 5. Jose Martinez, also nicknamed Hospem, is playing from the Dave Cave. He is massively better here in round 5. Ooh, look at the clock.
Looks like he is in control here. Yeah, and he wins on time, but also on the board.
He wins on the board, on the clock. Let's hear if we can get some words.
Es que mira, no tengo más que 0.70.
I didn't understand that.
Do you know Spanish?
No, but you do.
No, I don't, unfortunately.
It's another win. It's a win for Jose Martinez. Let's check out his score so far today. He's won 4 games, 1 loss, so that should take him to 4 points, and definitely in the mix and in the hunt for all those players on 5 out of 5. So far, that is 5 players: Lazovic, Sevian, Hikaru, Bartel, and Artemiev. Some big names up there on 5 out of 5. And look at that matchup. For round 6, we do have Artemiev against Hikaru.
Let's have a look at that.
Let's have a look at that. Artemiev with the white pieces, Hikaru Nakamura with the black pieces. This is round 6 in Title Tuesday, Game Week 2, the Winter Split. Vladislav Artemiev in a nice blue shirt with the white pieces.
Yeah, tough pairing for Hikaru this. Getting another black, and he's going for the same opening once again as we saw in the previous game. And Artemiev chooses a slightly different approach here. He doesn't actually take the bishop here that he could have done and doubled Hikaru's pawns, but instead he goes for a very solid classical line here, just developing the pieces normally, and we keep a pretty common structure in this position. These types of positions are usually slightly better for white because white has a little bit better control of the center, especially now moving this pawn upward. Grab some space here. It blocks out Hikaru's bishop, and this is quite comfortable for white, but there are also decent winning chances for black here if he can find the correct ideas to play against the space advantage. So usually in these types of positions, when you have less space, you try to trade pieces, and this is exactly what Hikaru is doing now. The reason why you want to do that is because if you have too many pieces with little space, you end up getting quite cramped, and your pieces are kind of standing on top of each other. So what Hikaru now is trying to do is get rid of a few pieces, and his remaining pieces will have a lot of room to move around, and in the long term, he'll try to actually target this pawn in the center here, which later on can become a weakness.
Okay. Vladislav Artemiev from Russia, 27 years old, a grandmaster who is especially good in online speed chess. He played Title Tuesday last week, scored 7.5 points, and his best score from the autumn split was 9 points and a 5th place in Game Week 13. He's won Title Tuesday 5 times in history, definitely capable of taking the win here today. He is better on the bar against Hikaru.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning that the computer usually likes these types of positions for white because you have more space. The computer loves space. That said, I think Hikaru has a pretty good variation of this type of structure because usually you have this, but with many more pieces on the board. And in that case, white is often better with more space. But when Hikaru has traded a lot of pieces like here, I don't think it's as clear. So actually, I might rather take black in this position because it's very easy to find moves. You just keep developing your pieces. You can, at some point, maybe bring the knight in. You don't actually have to do much, whereas white has to be a bit precise and try to build up the attack here. For example, by moving the knight, bringing up the other pawn, but that's also sometimes a bit risky. So even though the eval bar says slightly better for white, I think it's a good start for Hikaru, especially looking at the clock as well.
Look at that. Vladislav Artemiev is down to 2 minutes 40 seconds on his clock. Hikaru still has 4 minutes left. He is playing incredibly fast today, Hikaru. He seems so confident and powerful today.
Yeah, he looks very comfortable at the moment. And now he's thinking about this idea with the pawn attacking the queen. But the main idea is actually getting the knight into this very nice square, putting even more pressure on this pawn in the center and seeing how this can potentially become weak. The only thing is, if he does that, he commits quite a lot himself, and his own pawn can become weak on c4. So he has to consider quite carefully if he wants to actually do that. So let's see what he goes for. He does actually do it. What is his follow-up? He does defend this pawn. Now, a couple of ideas here. Hikaru can either go for bringing this knight into the center at some point, but he has to defend his pawn first. So in that case, he can maybe try to move his queen here, so he's able to bring up another pawn and defend. Or he could just play this very slowly and try to stay a bit still and see what happens, because the pressure is on white here. I like this idea as well, trying to trade the queens. If the queens come off, it's maybe a good thing for Hikaru, because there's less attacking potential for Artemiev in this position. You're never going to give checkmate to the king in a long, long time. If this happens, and now he actually goes for a direct approach instead, Hikaru doesn't look happy about that.
No, let's listen in. No sound on Hikaru, unfortunately. But something.
Yeah, I think what he's
bugged him.
Annoyed about is that now he has to be a bit careful with this pawn that Artemiev has in the center. It can potentially become very dangerous if it starts marching up the board. And a couple of moves ago, this pawn was blocked by a pawn that Hikaru had here. And it wasn't really necessary for Hikaru to allow this to open up and be traded. He could have just waited, not allowed Artemiev to march forward, and that would have made things more difficult for him. Whereas now the play is more direct, and we could easily see things get traded off here. Yeah, exactly. He goes for that. Now this pawn is captured, but this is very drawish, and it feels like Hikaru is not too happy about that, given that he did have some potential in that position.
So you expect this will be a draw by agreement?
Yeah, not quite yet, but I think it will be a draw pretty soon. They might trade off a couple of more pieces here, and then once it fades out to an equal endgame with no passed pawns or anything, they'll probably agree to a draw.
So even with 1.5 minutes more on his clock, that's not enough for Hikaru to play this on the clock. There's not enough pieces, pawns left on the board.
I mean, it's always possible, because you can play this on forever. You can, even though it's extremely equal, you can just play 50 moves, move a pawn, play 50 more moves, move another pawn. So maybe that's what Hikaru is going to do.
Well, Sam Sevian takes down Maxime Vagier-Lagrave to go up to 6 out of 6. So Hikaru needs a win in this one to go to 6 out of 6 to keep that perfect score. Right now, this is looking like a draw against Artemiev, though.
Yeah, and this is the typical thing that we see. Hikaru doesn't allow the pawns to be traded off. He could have just captured this pawn. This would have been captured. but he tries to keep it on for as long as possible, which is a good idea if he's going to play for the win. So he's trying not to get the king into the game either to start attacking this, or if he could get the king across, he would actually defend his pawn and can start attacking once again. I would actually give Hikaru quite decent chances of winning this, because you don't very quickly get traded off the last pawns here. I mean, you get these pawns you can trade, but then with the remaining pawns here, it's hard to do much. The thing is, Artemiev, yeah, okay, so they actually just take the draw.
Eventually, it is a draw between two giants. Artemiev and Hikaru agree to a draw, and that takes them both to 5.5 points. But we will see some players actually on a perfect score. Sam Sevian and Denis Lazovic both on 6 out of 6. We do have 3 players streaming Title Tuesday from the Take offices today. One of them is Jose Ibarra. He just beat Anish Giri.
Yeah.
Impressive stuff.
Awesome. Very impressive.
Yeah. Look at that. He is sitting down this corner. Here you see him. Jose Ibarra streaming on 5 points today. Incredible stuff. Then we have Torstein Ba, the Norwegian international master, to my side. He is streaming from Magnus's 2882 room. And then we have Jose Martinez in the Dave Cave. And how is Jose Martinez doing? And is he still playing? Seems like he won.
Yeah.
He won in round 6. So he should also be on 5 out of 6 points. Yeah, there we have Ibarra, and there we have Jose Martinez Hospem.
Could we see a streamer battle here between Ibarra and Hospem?
Ooh, that would be fantastic. Let's hope for that. Cool. Let's hope for that, you guys. That would be amazing. We do have some big matchups coming up. It's getting tighter in the top. We do see the top names gather towards the top. I do notice that Maxime Vagier-Legrave is no longer on this list. We don't see Anish Giri on this list. Aha. Some difficult times. Yeah, because Giri, of course, just lost to Ibarra. Duda just lost as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of upsets today, actually.
Some upsets today. Hikaru Nakamura just played a draw. He is on 5.5 points. We do have 2 players on a perfect 6 out of 6. We're waiting now for round 7 to begin. And one of my favorite moments in Title Tuesday, 11 times every single Title Tuesday, we get to look forward to pairings. And it's always exciting who will face each other. I guess we should expect Lazovic Sevian to be up against each other.
Yeah,
the next one.
We have to expect that. We will for sure see that pairing. And then the exciting question is who's going to play each other on the lower boards.
Hikaru Sarana, that would be a good one.
Could happen, yeah.
And then, of course, if we do have Ibarra against Jose Martinez, our 2 streamers here in the Take offices, that would be amazing. We do see 1 game still going on here in round 6, and there it ends with a draw, and pairings come up right away. Look at that!
Oh,
exactly
wow.
what we asked for. Sevian against Lazovic, Hikaru against Sarana. My pick would maybe be on Hikaru Sarana.
I think let's have a look at that.
That's very exciting. It is Hikaru's birthday. It is a fun day to follow him. Jose Martinez is up against Kollars in this round. We'll keep an eye on all the action. Oh,
we see this game.
We see the top board.
Let's maybe come back to the top board later on and start with the Hikaru game.
Okay.
But in this game, the previous game we saw a pretty solid opening. So let's see what happens there. But in the Hikaru game, we have something that looks like a queen's gambit so far. Another solid opening from Hikaru. He's playing a lot of strong, solid lines today. Sarana goes for a pawn push here, which is not the most traditional, but he's trying to keep moving it upwards here and annoy Hikaru a little bit. He also had this idea of trading off the bishops, which is a good idea because this bishop often becomes a bad piece behind this wall of pawns if it ends up on this spot. It can't actually do anything from there. So this is a nice strategic idea from Sarana. The problem is when trading off these pawns, these bishops, when you've moved the pawns like this, is that these squares become a little bit weak when you don't have the light squared bishops. So maybe that's something Hikaru can exploit by moving this knight up here, maybe supporting it with the pawn, and then he can bring the rook in here and try to create some trouble. So I still think this is a little bit more comfortable to play for Hikaru. Now he also has some more space with this nice pawn here. Maybe he can support it like this at some point, but for now he needs to defend his knight. Instead, he moves back into the center. That's a little bit surprising, but maybe he wants to just block everything here and make it difficult for Sarana to develop. I would expect him to challenge the knight here, though. That seems like the most straightforward move. And in that case, I am curious to see what Hikaru has planned. Maybe he actually wants to long-term play on the king side. If he brings his knight back here, he can potentially do that. Sarana doesn't have many pieces on that side and could have a weak king, potentially, if Hikaru wants to attack it.
Definitely. Alexei Sarana from Serbia. He plays a lot of Title Tuesday. He is incredible in this format. Remember, he won Game Week 1 in the autumn split with Title Tuesday for the first time being played without increment in a completely new format. Alexei Sarana was the one who won the very first edition. He has 21 Champions Chess Tour points. He scored some nice results so far in Title Tuesday, but he is currently in 9th place, currently outside EWC, Esports World Cup qualification. He definitely needs, and he is definitely eager to score as many points as possible. He is fighting to win Title Tuesday today. Tough matchup today, though, in this round 7 against Hikaru Nakamura.
Yeah, and Hikaru doesn't look too happy because, as we see, the eval bar says it's very equal. There isn't that much to try for Hikaru here. He's bringing in his rooks, which looks nice, but at the end of the day, you can't really attack that much with the rooks. And I think what he should have done previously is kept the knights on a little bit earlier. Then he could have had some more chances to play for a win, but now it's quite difficult. Sarana is being very solid here. He's also not really down on the clock, and he's going to just try to trade off the rooks, and it's going to be hard for Hikaru to win this. He doesn't have a clear plan, and he has to figure out what to do now.
He has to figure it out. Both players around 3 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, he doesn't look too happy.
He doesn't look too happy right now, Hikaru Nakamura, but the evaluation bar is in the middle in this game. It says balance. This is round 7 out of 11. Always 11 rounds in Title Tuesday. Hikaru Nakamura can no longer score Sarana, but we do have 2 players heading into this round on 6 out of 6 points. Sam Sevian and Denis Lazovic. A win here. They don't have to win here, these 2 players, but not scoring the full point here is potentially falling behind in the fight to win Title Tuesday today.
Yeah, for sure, because in Title Tuesday, you need so many points to actually get in the top, and you have to win almost every game. So every draw is, well, not optimal. You have to try to win every game. And I mean, for Sarana here with black against Hikaru, it's not bad with a draw. I think he would be happy with that. But for Hikaru, he needs to try to win every game, especially with white. And it's going to be very hard here. He has, I would say, a slight advantage because he's in control of this C file. He has pretty good pieces, but there isn't really anything to attack here. There aren't any targets for Hikaru. And Sarana just plays a pretty simple move. He attacks the rook. I don't think he's going to do much. He's probably just going to move back. And yeah, after that, he might try to bring his rook over here at some point. He does it immediately, actually, attacking a queen. And after that, he's going to save his bishop. And yeah, he's still very, very solid in this position. Hikaru might hope that Sarana trades these queens, because that would actually give him a passed pawn that he can try to move up. Instead, he just trades himself. He's still in control of this C file, so he's going to try to bring the rook in somehow. But once again, There aren't that many targets. He needs to try to end up in a position here where, let's say he can trade the bishops. He can have the superior rook in this endgame and try to attack this pawn and have a very slight advantage. But now actually the bar swings. It says it's better for Sarana here.
Trouble for Hikaru.
Can he bring his rook here? Yeah, exactly. This pawn. How do you defend it actually? Did Hikaru miss this? He doesn't. Once again, he doesn't look happy about this. Seems like a free pawn. Hikaru, though, is he going to go for some sort of counter attack here against Sarana's king? Because this king is very exposed here with these dark squares not being protected at all. It's a typical checkmating pattern here. If you have a bishop on this square and you bring the rook around, super dangerous. So maybe they're both playing for a win here and they both have decent chances. Suddenly this ended up being super interesting out of the blue.
Wow. Well, that's what you get in Title Tuesday with no increment on the clock and 11 rounds every single Tuesday. We see fighting chess, we see aggressive chess, we see chances, we see blunders, we see brilliant moves. Hikaru. Oh, much better now. What's happening?
Yeah, so what's happening is that he has suddenly a passed pawn, which is very dangerous. He can just give a check, start marching this pawn up the board. That pawn starts moving very quickly, and you have to start thinking about how you're going to stop it. Sarana's counterplay is also not that obvious. The thing is, he also has a passed pawn, which he's going to start moving up the board. So this becomes a race here with the passed pawns. Who's going to promote first? And maybe neither of them are able to do so, but at this point, it's very difficult to play for both players. Hikaru also has this weak pawn here, which Sarana now correctly tries to attack. And once again, it looks better for Sarana, but super complicated.
Wow, and he joins us on camera. That's fantastic because this is about to get dramatic. 2 players now ticking under the minute on the clock. Right now, Sarana is much better, but it feels like this can go any way.
Yeah, this could go either way, but I think Sarana's pawns here are much more dangerous. He's been able to bring 2 very dangerous pawns up the board here. This one is now a protected passed pawn, and protected passed pawns are a lot more dangerous than only passed pawns because, as we can see, Hikaru's pawn, it can't really move because the rook will just take it, and it's very hard to get in a situation where you can start moving that pawn. And in the meantime, Sarana's pawns are also very dangerous. We can see Hikaru trying to bring the bishop back to support here and stop the pawn from moving, but once again, Sarana controls the square with the rook, tries to move the pawn up. Yeah, it's not over yet, but it's very difficult for Hikaru here. We also see them very low on the clock.
Huge moment now for Alexei Sarana, better on the bar. He is in 9th place in the Champions Chess Tour standings today without Magnus Carlsen playing Title Tuesday. It's a huge opportunity to score CCT points.
He picks up a pawn. Yeah, he gets Hikaru's pawn, so now he's actually the only one who can play for a win here. Hikaru doesn't really have any very dangerous tries here. Oh, did he blunder this move? Once again, extremely complicated here. The point is he has pinned this bishop, and now this passed pawn is coming. What do you do about that? How is this going to be defended?
And red clock for Sarana.
Yeah, now it's completely winning for Sarana. The question is, can he do it in time? He's down to 8 seconds, but he has a rook and bishop to deal with. Now he's going to give a check. Can he pick up that rook? It's going to be very difficult. He needs to at least get rid of these pawns as well so that you can, worst case, sacrifice for the rook. I think he has to do that. Does he have time, though? Does he have time? Wow.
Can he do it in time? Can he do it in time? Eventually, it's a draw. Wow, how is that even possible? Mate in 5, less than a second left on his clock. It ends in a draw.
It ends in a draw. That could have gone either way. I thought for a second Hikaru was going to win, that Sarana wouldn't be able to pick up his rook in time, but then he suddenly got the rook, but he was too low on time to actually give checkmate with the queen there.
So is it actually Hikaru offering a draw?
No, I wouldn't say so. I think he's trying to flag his opponent and try to do something confusing because he was probably expecting the rook to go back and then he could sacrifice. So I don't know what it was about.
Holy moly, that's a dramatic ending to a game. Maybe a fair result. A draw between Hikaru and Sarana, taking them both to 6 points. We now have 3 players on 6.5. A draw between Sevian and Lazovic means they're on 6.5. Artemiev joins them on 6.5. Hikaru is chasing only half a point behind. And round 8 is about to start. Artemiev, Lazovic, Sevian, Hikaru, all-American battle. Is that the one we should follow?
Maybe let's look at the top board for this game. Let's follow the players in the lead here. We'll for sure have a look or keep an eye on the Hikaru game as well. But yeah, this is once again a pretty solid opening. This is called the Ragozin, I believe. Trying to play quite active here in the defense here for Lazovic. He's bringing out first of all, his pawns in the center very quickly, and then he strikes with the bishop and the knight, and now we have equal material. White has the bishop here, once again, as we often see in these types of Queen's Gambit, Nimzo Indian openings, but Black's point here is that the knights are quite good. Now he might move it into the center here, attack the queen. He could also bring the other knight, although that would maybe drop this pawn. He could also just defend the knight, try to get the bishop out. So what we often see here is that White struggles a little bit with the development. You need to get this bishop out here now, which is going to take some time. You need one move and then another move, and then you need to castle. So if Black can strike in the center before you're able to do that, it's a little bit uncomfortable. And a typical idea here would be to, actually now Artemiev plays very solidly, tries to trade the queens so that his queen doesn't end up in danger. But still, Black is very active here. We can see Lazovic now eyeing this square with the knight. And he's giving Artemiev a bit of a headache here with these knights. But nevertheless, quite solid for Artemiev still in this position.
All right. Lazovic at only 19 years old. He is so good in online Blitz. It's incredible, the skills that he has in this format.
Yeah, he's really good. We've seen it every Tuesday that he beats all the best players, and even when he's extremely low on time, he somehow just turns it around and wins. We saw that against Ariane, for example, in their game. So extremely fast and strong. That's a good combination in this format.
Yeah. He won Gameweek 10 in the autumn split. He has won Title Tuesday 13 times. And again, he's only 19 years old. Denis Lazovic here with the black pieces. He is in shared lead, 3 players on 6.5 points heading into this round 8. Artemiev is, of course, capable of beating Denis Lazovic here with the white pieces. This is the top board, the top battle right now, but chasing half a point behind is Hikaru Nakamura, and he is right now playing his American teammate, Sam Sevian. It's balanced so far in that game.
Yeah, things are also happening in this game. It looks like it's going towards a quick draw. They just traded both pairs of rooks, which would have been the chance to play for a win. You keep the rooks on, you try to play for something in the long run. You can, of course, still try something here, but I would say this very quick trade of rooks would be a sign that they're both happy with the draw. And Lazovic now is considering how he's going to continue. I expect him to maybe go here to try to trade this knight if his strategy is to get a quick draw here. Other moves could be attacking the knight with the king, but really he doesn't have to do that much in this position. It's hard for either player to create that much here. Artemiev has a little bit more space, slightly more active knight, but that's not going to last for long because you either have to trade it here or move away, and then you're not going to be very active anymore. He does move away. I would say that's maybe a sign that he's playing for a win, at least to a slight degree. If he wanted a draw, he could have just taken the knight. But it's unlikely that we'll see something other than a draw here. Maybe he will try to bring his king towards the center, but I think it's going to be stopped because Lazovic could always move up his pawn and take more control of the center and just be very, very solid here. Yeah, there aren't that many ideas for any of them, but maybe he can try to go here just to try to get some more space with the pawns. In an endgame, it's usually always a good idea to start advancing the pawns since they can become queens. That's what he does. Gets a bit more control of this square. So maybe now he wants to bring his king up, and at some point the knight can come back to this square. Now, unless Lazovic or Artemiev wants Lazovic to be able to go here, he has to go there himself. He does do that. I mean, the pawn can potentially become weak, but I don't think it's realistically ever a thing. Now I think you take with the knight, because if you take with the pawn, you have to be worried about the knight getting kicked. Yeah, this type of position is very slightly better for Artemiev, just because you have, first of all, slightly more active king. The kings are actually good attacking pieces in the endgame. You should never use them to attack before the endgame, but in the endgame you have to get your king active. Yeah, also Lazovic's pawn here is on the same color as his bishop, which is not what you want. You want them on opposite colors, like Artemiev is doing here, very instructive, because if they are on opposite colors, you don't block your own bishop, and you control more squares in total. Like if you have all your pawns on light squares, you have very weak control of dark squares. But I don't think anything is going to happen here because Artemiev can't really break through. Lazovic is just going to go back and forth with his bishop, and I think Artemiev should just take the draw here and get it over with before he starts getting into time trouble, because that would... yeah.
That would be uncomfortable. It is a draw. It's a repetition, and 2 of the 3 players on top of the leaderboard heading into round 8 agree on a draw, taking them both to 7 points and opening the door for players like Hikaru Nakamura. Half a point behind heading into this round.
Should we have a look at our streamer?
Oh, yes. This is Jose Martinez from the Dave Cave. Is he in trouble against Mitrava?
Yeah. This doesn't look good. That's unfortunate for our streamer, but this looks very hard. He is down 2 pawns in this position, and he's down a minute on the clock, so this is very hard to do anything about. He's also playing a very strong opponent here, so it's unlikely that he's going to throw this away. Now he's trying to trade off pieces here. Jose needs to keep some pieces on the board if he's going to have a chance now. I like this move, though. It's threatening this fork, which would be very annoying for Mitrava. So he has to get out of that. These pawns are a little bit weak. That's the only hope that Jose has in this position. And yeah, we've seen him turn around the craziest positions, so I wouldn't say the hope is out yet. But yeah, Mitrava playing well here, trying to once again attack this piece. He's threatening to take it, and if it moves away like this, he can trade the queens, and the danger is kind of gone here. That said, his bishop is quite good, his rook is good.
And remember, Lucas, what you told me before the show today when we talked about our guest streamer here, Jose Martinez, playing from the Dave Cave. He is extremely resourceful. Yes. He is one of those players that can just make comebacks, whether it's tournament situation, whether it's a game, he just keeps fighting on.
Yeah, he's incredibly good at comebacks. He has a great fighting spirit, and he's always able to come up with something to make it difficult for his opponents. I mean, all of the top GMs are good at that, but I would say Jose in particular has this as a very strong skill. And I would say he's fighting on really well here. He's kind of catching up on the clock. He's also now isolated these pawns a little bit, so they're easier to attack because they can't defend each other anymore. Mitrava also still has this pawn here, which is in danger. He has to think about, is he going to defend that pawn? Yeah, this isn't easy now at all. We see actually the bar jumps back to equal. Now he attacks the rook. Wow, this is looking like a potential comeback here. He's still in trouble on the clock, but on the board, I would say he's close to coming back here. Now he picks up this pawn very soon with this knight, and now it's just back to back to equal almost.
All right, Jose Martinez has fought his way back in the game. Look at those clock. 19 seconds for Jose Martinez, 27 seconds for Mitraba. Will it be decided on the board or on the clock? Now it's back to better for Mitraba, jumping back and forth. The eval bar.
Yeah, here it's all about the clock now. They just have to be incredibly fast. They're actually equal on the clock now. It's losing for Martinez, but if he can just sacrifice his knight for that pawn, there's still hope. He has to avoid this pawn becoming a queen. Then I think Mitraba would make it in time here. Otherwise, I think there is some hope. So is he going to be able to pull something off here? What is he going to do? That's a very good move, trying to eliminate that knight. If you move it, the pawn becomes a queen. Now he's going to get a queen. Is he going to be able to do anything in time here? I think he's going to get mated, but they're both very low on the clock here. That looks like checkmate.
Oh, in Spanish, but we get the essence of that. Heartbreak for Jose Martinez. Mate in one and a win on the clock for Mitraba. But some good fighting there from Jose Martinez.
Yeah, he almost got back there. Extremely well fought, but unfortunate that it wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough for Jose Martinez, but still more games to come. And look at that. It was a draw also between Sam Sevian and Hikaru Nakamura. Alexei Sarana was able to win his game. So look at the standings right now. It's back to extremely even. We have 6 players on 7 points. Lasovic, Artemiev, Sevian, Sarana, Shimanov, and Esipenko. Hikaru on 6.5 points, chasing behind. And we have 9, 10, 11, 3 rounds to go in Title Tuesday. But right now, the players will have a little bit of a break, and we're going to sum up the action so far.
Here we go.
Following a lot of Hikaru Nakamura's games today, Magnus Carlsen is not playing. Hikaru is the favorite to win today. It is his birthday, turning 38 today. And one of the highlights so far, the game with Hikaru versus Alexei Sarana. Let's take a look at an action replay from that game.
Yeah, so after being a very equal game for a long time, this became very open and both players had very good chances. We saw here the battle of the passed pawns. Both players trying to get their pawns across, becoming queens. Sarana had a very good chance here, but he was down on the clock, so it was difficult to actually convert this. We saw here that his pawn was very close, and at this point it was just about the clock. He needed to get rid of the final pieces here for Hikaru in time. He did do that, but he couldn't find the checkmate in time, and it ended up being a draw in this game.
It was eventually a draw after a lot of drama, and both Sarana on 7 points, one of those 6 players on 7 out of 8. Hikaru chasing half a point behind all those players. All right, it's an interesting Title Tuesday. Now we see Anish Giri has made his way onto top 20. Would you say he still has a chance to win it today?
Yeah, I would say there's always a chance. Yeah, if he can win the rest of his games, there's a little bit of hope. But I mean, if you're on 6 points, you need some of the other players to mess up as well. You need some luck.
And of course, we see Ibarra is on the list. Jose Ibarra streaming from the Take offices today. He's on 6 points. Look at that. That's where he's streaming from. And he is coming from a win. He won his game now against Gazunka. Now, Jose Martinez struggling a little bit more. One of the players we thought could be fighting for the win in Title Tuesday today. He's lost 2 games now and 1 draw. And then streaming from Magnus Carlsen's 2882 room is International Master Torstein Ba, who is a Norwegian TV celebrity. He brings chess to millions of viewers in Norway every single Christmas, getting ready for World Rapid and Blitz to commentate on that for NRK over Christmas, and he's warming up with playing Title Tuesday. That's very cool to see. Are you looking forward to World Rapid and Blitz, Lucas?
Yeah, I am. It's, in my opinion, by far the most exciting event.
Except for Title Tuesday.
Except for Title Tuesday, of course. But out of the yearly events that we have to look forward to, I would say it's one of my favorites, especially with a tradition here in Norway that you follow it on NRK, and you have all the top players usually participating, and it just ends up being a lot of drama.
Yeah.
Time trouble, as we see in Title Tuesday as well.
Yeah.
Which is why I like Title Tuesday. It's a similar format.
100%. And I bet some players are actually using Title Tuesday to build up to the action coming up in Doha over Christmas with World Rapid and Blitz, getting more... There's been a lot of classical chess lately. There's been World Cup, there's been Grand Swiss. To speed up a little bit must be important for the players participating in World Rapid and Blitz.
Yeah, definitely. It's like the only good chance you get to really practice your Blitz against the best players before the World Championship. So I would say probably we're going to see almost all of the best players being in Title Tuesday the next few weeks.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that.
Exactly. Oh, all right. A few more weeks of Title Tuesday before World Rapid and Blitz happens in Doha over Christmas. Right now we're looking forward to the finish of Title Tuesday Game Week 2 in the Winter Split. Who's going to win it? All right, Hikaru, he seems to be getting into the mood.
Oh, there's a blunder.
Oh, it's a win for Hikaru Nakamura.
Oh, how is he going to stop this pawn? Lazovic wins.
Oh, who's this going to be? Will it be Hikaru? What's happening?
Hikaru wins. Hikaru finds a tactical trick. There was a blunder there, and the queen will fall. I would actually give Hikaru quite decent chances of winning this. With the remaining pawns here, it's hard to do much. Yeah, okay, so they actually just take the draw.
Eventually, it is a draw between two giants, Artemiev and Hikaru. All right. Deep breath, Lucas. Action is about to resume. We're getting ready for round 9, 10, and eventually 11 to decide the winner of Game Week 2 in the Winter Split. 6 players on 7 points so far, and here we have pairings for round 9. Lazovic, Esipenko, Sarana, Artemiev, Shimanov, Sevian, Hikaru against Benjamin Book, Colors against Grishok. Wow! All right. Which
a lot
one?
Of exciting ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, difficult to pick, but I would say let's go for Lazovic, Esipenko.
I support that. 100%. Esipenko, who is one of the candidates next year after his performance in the World Cup. And here he is, speeding up with the black pieces. He's come from behind today, but look at this. He is now on 7 points with the black pieces against Lazovic.
Yeah, we see Lazovic going for the Torre attack here. It's not the most common, but it's a very good blitz weapon. So it's quite similar to the London opening, where you bring your bishop out early and you try to bring, kind of build this solid structure in the center. And it often leads to good attacking chances. But here, actually, Lazovic went for... bringing his knight out to this square instead, and this suddenly became quite concrete here. A lot of threats already, and Lazovic has to think about how he deals with his knight. He actually sacrifices a pawn here by just castling. It's probably the most straightforward option. Now Esipenko will probably take, Lazovic can take back, and then Esipenko can consider, is he going to take this pawn with the queen, or is he going to focus on his development? That would be the more solid, safe option. That said, if he's going to try to win here, no, he doesn't actually do that. He leaves the pawn. That said, the pawn is always going to be weak here anyways, so you don't actually have to take it immediately. You can take your time here and try to develop some pieces first. Lazovic brings a rook here, attacks the pawn. Esipenko has to figure out how to deal with that, maybe with the knight and maybe with the pawn. But as we see, these pawns are both pretty weak here, and Lazovic is playing quite aggressively here, just allowing these pawns to be targets in order to develop quickly and get some threats towards Esipenko here. Now, Esipenko is taking some time to defend, and Lazovic, if he can keep the pressure up here and keep the threats coming, then this can become quite dangerous, and we see the bar also going in his favor here. So Let's see how he continues here to keep up the pressure on Esipenko.
Definitely better on the bar. Denis Lazovic with 7 points. Andrei Esipenko from Russia also on 7 points. It's good to see him playing Title Tuesday after his celebrations. Becoming third in the World Cup earned him a spot in next year's candidates, and he revealed that alcohol would be a big part of his celebrations. But here he is, playing some good chess today. Struggling in this game, though.
Yeah, I would say Lazovic went for something very true to the nature of the position there. He went for another pawn sacrifice, playing very directly here with this move here earlier on, which was able to give him a passed pawn in the center. Now he's rerouting his knight. Down here, he's going to either move it up to this square where it's very dangerous, or he might try to target this pawn, for example, with something like a queen move. Now he's not able to go here anymore, but this, once again from Esipenko, this is quite risky because now his king is even more open. And if Lazovic can find an aggressive continuation here, trying to exploit it, it's going to be very dangerous because Esipenko is not able to castle in quite a few moves here. And if you can try to exploit that while you have the chance, then it can become quite dangerous.
All right. Much better now on the bar for the 19-year-old from Belarus. Denis Lazovic is playing fantastic chess today, and he's playing so fast. 3 minutes, 15 seconds versus Esipenko's 2 minutes and 58 seconds so far in this game.
Yeah, Lazovic is playing incredibly fast, very strong as well. Now he's taking a time or a little bit of time to think. That said, it is a critical moment here. If he can find the best continuation, he's going to have very good chances. So it's probably worth figuring out what's going on here. I expect him to do something quite aggressive here, try to open up the position. Maybe something like e4 is a good idea. This is also an idea. He goes for attacking the pawn, which was also a potential move here. Maybe Esipenko will now bring up his pawn to defend once again. Or he could consider doing the same with the knight, but both defensive moves. I don't think he wants to sacrifice a pawn back quite yet. Yeah, he does defend it, so a lot of pawn moves from Esipenko here now. We can see all of these moving up the board, which could be a strength, but at the moment it looks more like a weakness and a lot of danger now for the king here still in the middle. Lazovic has a very safe king, whereas Esipenko has to worry about this for quite a while going forward now. I think he has to try to close the position with something like this. If he opens it up here, it's going to be extremely dangerous. The next move could be something like f4, just blasting open the center here. I don't think Esipenko can allow that. And other than that, I don't see a lot of good options because if you don't close off the center here, then yeah, he does actually go for that. I think that was the only good option, and now it's still difficult for Lazovic to find something very direct. But once again, he finds a very good move here, keeping the attack up, sacrificing another pawn. Now he's forcing Esipenko to move this pawn forward, which loses a defense here. Now there are a lot of tempting options for Lazovic. He can take this bishop, and then Esipenko would have to take back. He'd never be able to castle again. Could he do something else to try to open up? He also has this pawn, which is very dangerous here. King has to take back, and then he can even consider giving a check.
Massively better for Denis Lazovic. Hikaru Nakamura is in a winning position in his round 9 game against Benjamin Book. Hikaru on 6.5 points, fighting now to go to 7.5. If Lazovic wins this game, he's going to be on 8 points. And it's looking very, very good for the young
Esipenko bringing the king out for a walk
cow, that's brave.
That is very brave. He, he's not going to survive there for long, so he really needs to get some of his pieces into the defense here quickly.
And mate in 8.
Wow.
Is this game going to be over very soon?
Yeah, it's likely here that Lazovic is going to find the correct continuation after thinking for a bit, and then he's probably just going to win. He can, of course, take the knight, but he can also give a check on this square, which is forcing the king even further out into the board. And then there are a bunch of ideas Lazovic has that might win. I think the most direct is you give a check, the king moves forward, you might give another check with a pawn, sacrificing. But if the king takes, suddenly the rook can come across and give checkmate. So a lot of arrows here, but the idea is force the king further out, and there's usually a way to deliver checkmate often in these positions. Lazovic can even just take the knight and be completely sure to be winning here no matter what. He's still threatening a check here, This one is dangerous. I think he just wanted to keep it a little bit safe for now, not allow Esipenko to get away in any possible way. But he is a little bit down on the clock, so he has to figure it out soon.
Yeah, Esipenko still has more than a minute on his clock. Massively struggling on this board, though. That black king is out in the open.
Yeah, in a lot of danger. It's getting forced back now, but Lazovic can at least pick up a couple of pawns if he wants to, with check. Or he could try to, open up so that he can get his rook into the game. It's very dangerous for Esipenko to take that pawn because you allow Lazovic to enter with check. But if you don't take it, the pawn is always a big threat here, creating possible checkmate threats, but also just a big headache for the king. Now I'm expecting Lazovic to take this pawn next, and Esipenko has to watch out for this mate. Yeah, he actually has to walk back into the middle of the board. This is never a good sign. Now it's just about delivering the final blow here for Lazovic, but he is quite low on time still. He needs to figure this out.
It was a final blow from Hikaru Nakamura. He wins against Benjamin Buck. He goes to 7.5 points, still fighting to win Title Tuesday Game Week 2. And so are these two players. A win here will take Lazovic to 8 points.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be able to win this in time because he's getting very close now. He just needs to give a couple of more checks with the queen, and it looks like it's very close to checkmate now. But he still has to manage to do so in time. Now, actually, Esipenko is getting low on time as well, which makes it even more difficult to come back here. Now, yeah, the queen picks up a couple of pawns. The rook is going to enter soon. This is probably the next move. Once again, trying to hunt that king. Now, do we see the rook coming in maybe here? He goes there instead. Okay, is he bringing it around perhaps? That is very dangerous for Esipenko.
Oh, red clocks, red clocks.
Wow,
Alarm
now it's just
going off.
Yeah, now it's gone over to just being about the clocks. I mean, it's not obvious here that Lazovic will deliver checkmate in time, and if Esipenko can just play some quick moves.
Oh, but he's playing too slow.
He is too slow, yeah. Lazovic is going to win this. He can just pre-move a bunch of checks, and he wins.
And it's over. He wins on the board. He wins on the clock. Big, big win for Denis Lazovic. Oh, and a reaction from an angry Esipenko losing this one. And he is stuck on 7 points while Lazovic goes to 8 points. He joins Artemiev and Sam Sevian. And look at that, Hikaru Nakamura is only half a point behind with 2 rounds left to be played. 7.5 points. We have a bunch of players on 7 points. I can't believe how tight, close, exciting this Title Tuesday is. And look at that, round 10 is about to start. Hikaru against Lazovic. Okay, big one coming up between Hikaru and Lazovic. 2 speed monsters up against each other here in round 10.
Yeah, super important game for both of them now. Incredibly exciting moment here in the tournament. This will decide a lot. If Hikaru can win this game, he is back in contention for the first place here.
He definitely cannot lose, and a draw is probably not enough.
No, I don't think he can draw this game. I think he has to win.
Yeah, must win for Hikaru Nakamura on his birthday.
Yeah, and we see a Sicilian opening here with Hikaru playing a slightly unusual sideline here with moving this pawn up, trying to take the center, but then actually putting the bishop in front of the pawn. But this is quite a popular sideline if you don't play the mainline Sicilians. So he's trying to get out of the the most popular lines, as we've seen Hikaru do a lot today. And once again, we see this pawn in the middle of the board here, which we've seen a lot today, which gives Hikaru a space advantage for the moment. So what he's probably going to try to do now is castle quickly and then try to open up things in the center. This is an interesting move by Lazovic, trying to clamp down on the center, maybe get the knight into this square, but Hikaru actually goes for a direct way of countering this by moving his flank pawn up. So now the question is, will Lazovic take en passant, or will he just keep developing? He goes for the latter here, just developing his bishop, strengthening the center. I expect him now maybe to move his bishop here and castle. Instead, he takes. We have a lot of action actually on the queen side here early on. Now Lazovic goes for this attack towards the pawn. That's a big threat that Hikaru has to worry about. This would also unleash the rook here. So you probably have to do something about this immediately. Yeah, he just calmly defends. That's very patient by Hikaru here. But we can see Lazovic also on the bar here already better. It seems like he's getting some pressure here on Hikaru early on. And once again, I think this move is an annoying threat, because what he wants to do at some point is to take this, open up for his rook. And if he can then find a way to pin the bishop, Hikaru is in a lot of trouble, because the rook would be behind. So this could potentially happen here if Hikaru isn't dangerous. I'm pretty sure this is an idea he will see, but now, okay, he doesn't care.
Oh, and the fans are rooting for young Lazovic. Come on, Lazovic, you got this. From YouTube, send in your messages, questions, your comments. Who are you rooting for? We are getting towards the end of game week 2. Hikaru is fighting to win it on his birthday, but Lazovic on 8 points and in a good position in this game. Is he the one who's going to win Title Tuesday today?
Could very well be. And now we can see him picking up a pawn in the center. So that was one approach. The thing is, Hikaru does still have a slight development advantage here. We can see him already having castled, whereas Lazovic still has to get his bishop out before he can do that. He also has the queen in the center, which often becomes a target if you can attack it with knight, or maybe at some point the rook. So still, even though the bar says better for Lazovic, I would say the last couple of moves they have also given Hikaru a chance to counter here a bit and create his own attack. So this is still very much open. Now we can see a sneaky checkmate attack actually from Lazovic there for a second, but Hikaru defended it. There was a checkmate threat here, which was defended by the knight. Lazovic tries to trade the queens. Hikaru goes away, and now the rook is ready to join the action. This is super exciting moment here where the next couple of moves could decide a lot. Finally, Lazovic gets castled, so he's a lot more safe now in this position, but still, Hikaru has some active pieces here, and the queen is a bit awkward here. Where is it going to move? It goes here, attacks the pawn, but still, it's kind of jumping around a bit here. It's going to be in danger still for a few moves here. Hikaru can always attack it like this or like this, so it's actually steps back instead just to get out of the danger. And now it feels like Lazovic has solidified a bit here. It's not that easy for Hikaru anymore to create direct threats now that Lazovic has been able to castle, get his queen out of the danger, and now he's ready to keep developing. But Hikaru is bringing his pieces towards the king side here. Maybe next he wants to bring his queen up, creating a checkmate threat by himself. And then still, these pieces are very close to the king side and can create some trouble, especially with Lazovic going almost down below 2 minutes on the clock now.
Yeah, maybe that is Hikaru's hope, although the bar jumps down. But what an incredible game by Lazovic so far. Okay, is it turning though? Is Hikaru fighting back now?
Yeah, I think Lazovic might have gotten a bit scared in that moment. He sacrificed a pawn back just to get his knight developed. But I think he might have an idea here that once the queen moves, he will move up the pawn. And now if the knight moves, you have this attack on that pawn. But the bar says better for Hikaru. So there must be a good follow-up here, because I don't think he can simply move his knight.
Okay, what an exciting game. This is round 10. Both of these players are fighting to win Title Tuesday today. Both players about to tick under 2 minutes on the clock. Remember, there is no increment in Title Tuesday. Will we see a full-blown battle on the board, or will it be decided with red clocks in time trouble? This is a massive game. Both players fighting to win it.
Yeah, and we could see Hikaru there being very accurate. He found this move that I talked about, that you needed to find a way to counter Black's threat against his pawn, and he found exactly that move. These top players are just so strong in these critical moments. They always tend to find these super precise moves when they have to, and this is exactly what Hikaru does now, and suddenly the momentum shifts in his favor. Now he can maybe even attack the rook. Exactly, and where does it go?
He's eating something. It's a birthday cake for Hikaru Nakamura, getting some sugar in, getting his energy levels up for the finish to Title Tuesday Game Week 2 in the winter split. All right, the bar jumps up again for Lazovic.
This is about to get crazy. So Lazovic has sacrificed a rook for a bishop here, but he has opened up Hikaru's king completely in the process. So now actually the king is completely naked here. It doesn't have any pawns to protect apart from this. Lazovic's pawn is pretty close. Now the knight is jumping in as well. Super interesting moment here now, but Lazovic is low on the clock. He picks up another pawn. Hikaru's king extremely exposed now. Can Lazovic find a way to bring in his final pieces here to deliver an attack on Hikaru? He's now going for trading off these bishops. But now Hikaru potentially gets a passed pawn here that he could start moving up the board. It's not as easy to attack anymore for Lazovic either, because he doesn't have as many pieces as he had a few moves ago. Now you only have these two in the attack. For now, he's trying to bring his queen in like this. That would be very dangerous. But this rook still slightly offside. It's hard to bring it into the game, at least for now. But Hikaru thinking, and the clock is evening out.
It is massively better now for Lazovic. He is under the minute on the clock. Hikaru in deep thought.
He's allowed these checks. That's a bit surprising. Lazovic just picks up a pawn. Now, potentially, he wants to start moving this pawn up the board a little bit later on. That can be a very dangerous idea.
The bar is hating it right now for Hikaru Nakamura. Can he fight back? Again, he has more time on the clock, but he is also now under the minute.
The problem for Hikaru here is that Lazovic is extremely solid. Despite being down a rook for a bishop, his king is very safe. It's very hard for Hikaru to attack anything. He tries to bring his pawn up here to create this kind of counter threat, but I don't think he's going to accomplish very much by doing that. So Lazovic has all the chances here, trying to either create an attack towards the king or do something with his passed pawn. Hikaru's only hope is the clock, but even that is evening out at this point.
30 seconds left for Hikaru. I'm going to turn on his sound. Maybe we can listen in. Hikaru needs to win this. He cannot lose it. With a win here, Lazovic goes up to 9 points to take the lead. Will anyone join him with 1 round left to be played? Clocks are ticking.
I'm outplaying Lazovic this game, I feel like. I missed that, though. As soon as I say I think I'm outplaying him, I blunder.
Might be out of sync, but what's happening here? The bar is down to slightly better now.
Yeah, so now Lazovic is just trying to actually defend, it seems like, because he's so far down on the clock that he needs to just survive here. He's not going to be able to win on time, I think. And in that case, he found a good move here so that he's able to avoid losing. And now Hikaru has to be very quick here to avoid losing. But
2
this
seconds.
is a draw. I think this is going to be a draw. Even on the bar here now, it is a draw because Lazovic can't advance at this point.
Oh, it is a draw. It is a draw.
Wow.
Whoa, what a finish. Did Hikaru Nakamura get lucky there?
Yeah, I would say he got a bit lucky. It looked like a strategic choice by Lazovic at some point there where he kind of simplified into a bishop and 3 pawns versus rook endgame, which makes it very easy for him to play, but he also had so little time that he couldn't actually convert the position. So maybe it would have been better to go for the more direct approaches where he would have won more quickly on the board.
Well, a draw in that game is probably not enough for Hikaru Nakamura. He is now on 8 points. Denis Lazovic on 8.5. And we have one player in the sole lead heading into the 11th and final round. It is Sam Sevian on 9 points. And Sam Sevian will play Jan Christoph Duda in the final round. If he wins this game, he is the winner of Title Tuesday, Game Week 2 in the winter split. Tough opponent in the final round, though. Jan Christoph Duda. Well, he can beat anyone.
Yeah, we see another Nimzo Indian defense here. Once again, Black countering the Queen's Gambit here with quick development and controlling the center with the pieces. This is kind of the point with the Nimzo Indian. Quick development here with castling. And this line I've actually played a bunch myself. I think Black is supposed to take this knight and bring out this other knight at some point. At least that is one line here, but instead he moves his rook so that he's able to bring the bishop back. This is normally also what happens. It's one of the main lines. Now, White has a little bit more space here in the center. Sometimes White also brings up this pawn to take complete control on the queen side. That's what he does. And now usually Black, yeah, he does actually go for this this trade that I talked about. He brings out the knight, and now the idea is you try to play towards this square. So first you attack the pawn. Now probably he's going to go here. Exactly, opening up in the center. White doesn't want to take here because the knight gets into... Oh, he does actually do that. That's a little bit surprising. But nevertheless, White is very solid here. Once again, we have this position where White has the bishop pair, but Black has pretty active pieces. And maybe he will even just strike in the center here with a pawn to try to neutralize everything. The other option is just to keep developing slowly here, maybe with something like this move, staying solid. You can also, of course, take this bishop to get rid of the bishop pair, but that would open up for this bishop, which is nice for Sevian here. But I would say a pretty good opening so far for Sevian. It's relatively safe because even with a draw, he might win Title Tuesday, given that Lazovic has to win. He's the only one on 8.5. So this gives some winning chances, but it's also solid enough that you can quite often safe it in with a draw. White doesn't have a lot of weaknesses here. The only one with a weakness is Duda here with this pawn, which is a bit by itself. Sometimes it becomes a target, but now he tries to get rid of it with this move, trying to trade it off towards this pawn. And now, a pretty important choice for Sevian. Does he simplify here by taking this and kind of securing a draw to some extent, or does he move forward? He goes for the first, which is a very solid option. Now Duda might take this rook. He could also recapture in the center. He could take the bishop. Yeah, there are a lot of pieces here that can get captured. And I think we'll end up seeing a pretty equal end game here after all of these trades. Moving towards a draw, but at the same time, still chances for both players here.
All right. Well, this is a huge game for Sam Sevian in sole lead with 9 points heading into round 11. He is in a good place to win Title Tuesday today. And if he does, it will be the third time he wins Title Tuesday. But you know what, Lucas? The last time he won it was more than 5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
He is thirsty for that win. He is hungry to take first place, and he has a huge opportunity. But it's not sure that a draw in this game is enough. He needs to fight for that win because players are chasing him from behind. Denis Lazovic is one of those players. I am keeping an eye on his game as well. And now Sevian is thinking, Yeah, he's down to 2.5 minutes on the clock.
He took a long think there to consider which trade he was going to go for, but now he's blitzing out the moves. He went for something very solid. He did have a couple of other options, but he is kind of safing it a little bit here, which I think is a good idea because he does still have the chance to play for a win if he has to, but he's also staying very solid and is probably never going to be in any danger of losing here. And now he also creates some space for his king if he needs to be worried about back rank issues. I expect him to bring his knight back so that it can jump into the center, be more part of the game here. It was a bit offside here on the edge. And yeah, we could see some more trades happening pretty soon. But Duda starts by controlling this square so that the knight doesn't jump in here. Potentially he can even bring his other pawn up here, kind of neutralizing the pawn structure, making it even more symmetrical. But at the moment, yeah, he does actually do that. But it looks like a position where both players can just move around a bit. There's not that much going on. And it's moving towards a draw, but anything can still happen. They're both getting a little bit low on the clock, especially Sevian here.
And some news from Denis Lasovic's game. He has finished his game against Alexei Sarana with a draw. He is on 9 points. Denis Lasovic.
Okay.
He is on 9 points, and that means a draw could be enough for Sam Sevian here. But remember, Hikaru Nakamura, he is currently fighting against Muradli, and with a win in that game, Hikaru will go to 9 points.
Oh, that is exciting.
Yeah.
I thought for a second that it would be enough here with the draw for Sevian. I've always wondered if they keep an eye on other games when they play in the final round like this, but I don't think they actually have the chance to do so. It's just too busy. Because if you have that information, it's you can make some more tactical choices. Do you go for the draw or not?
It's a loss for Hikaru.
Oh.
Hikaru Nakamura finishes with a loss on his birthday against Muradli, and that means Hikaru, he finishes Title Tuesday Game Week 2 in the winter split on 8 points. He is not going to win it today. It's either going to be Lasovic, Sevian, or Muradli, who beat Hikaru Nakamura. He is now on 9 points. A draw in this game means Sam Sevian is the winner. He only needs a draw or a win. If he loses this, it goes to tiebreaks.
Yeah, it looks very likely here that Sevian is going to win Title Tuesday. As long as he doesn't freeze up and get low on time, he should have very good chances to at least avoid losing this. The question is if he doesn't know about the fact that a draw is enough and he's going to push for a win.
Yeah.
That is possible.
Yeah. Whew. All right, Sam Sevian from Corning, New York, USA. He is 24 years old, and he is fighting for a huge win. If he wins Title Tuesday today, that's going to be the first time he wins the tournament in over 5 years. The youngster from the US is making his mark.
Yeah, he has a great chance to do so here, but actually the position is becoming a little bit more unbalanced now. So previously we saw a very symmetrical type of position where it was super equal, but now actually we have a knight against the bishop. This pawn is potentially weak, but also Sevian can try to attack this pawn. In this position, maybe he can bring his knight into that square in the middle, but suddenly things are happening. So with them also getting low on the clock, yeah, things can happen here. And now Duda has a passed pawn as well.
Both players under the minute on the clock. Sam Sevian needs a draw or a win to win Title Tuesday today. Can Duda stop him with the win for Jan-Christoph Duda? Well, we will have 3 players on 9 points, and tiebreaks will decide who wins it. Well, actually, Duda will be a part of that as well, of course. If Duda wins this, he will be on 9 points, of course. We will have 4 players on 9 points. Mm-hmm. Artemiev is still also playing. We have several players who could actually reach 9 points.
Interesting.
It's interesting. Sam Sevian, though, it's all in his hands. He needs a draw or a win in this game to secure the victory.
Yeah, very solid move by him there. Now there's no way to lose. You just have to avoid getting flagged. But I don't think that's going to happen. Are we going to see a draw? It is a draw.
It's a draw, and that means Sam Sevian is the winner of Title Tuesday Game Week 2 in the winter split. The American, the 24-year-old, takes it for the first time since 2020. It is his third Title Tuesday victory in his career, but the first one in a very long time. Huge congratulations to the young American. That must feel fantastic for him.
Yeah, must be great.
Yeah.
I mean, he always plays in Title Tuesday, and he's been waiting so long to get that win. So that must be a great feeling.
Fantastic. And that also definitely brings him up the Champions Chess Tour leaderboard. Sam Sevian will gain 10 Champions Chess Tour points today. He's going to now be inside top 20. And with many Title Tuesdays and game weeks left to be played before the Esports World Cup, huge chance for him to qualify for Esports World Cup. Look at that. Title Tuesday Game Week 2 is rounding up. We see one game still in action. We see Hikaru Nakamura ending up there with 8 points, currently in 13th place, outside top 10. And that's a surprise. He's been in the top all day, and then towards the end, not quite able to take it home.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Hikaru. He had a great start, playing very well, winning all of his games in the beginning, and then it kind of turned around a little bit. Seemed like he was losing a bit of his momentum, and he struggled to come back. So unfortunate for him. Yeah.
But look at who's in 8th place. Anish Giri.
Yeah.
He didn't play Title Tuesday in the autumn split. He made his debut last week in Game Week 1, and here he is on top 10 on the leaderboard, meaning he's scoring some Champions Chess Tour points. Cool to see. He was very anxious to see how he would do in the 5+0 time format. Apparently, it's not going too bad.
Yeah, looks quite good.
Yeah.
He's getting in the top 10. That's the most important for the EWC qualification.
Definitely. But the winner today is Sam Sevian. We are waiting for Sam to join us, hoping to get an interview with the winner of Game Week 2. What impressed you the most with Sam Sevian today, Lucas? We were able to follow quite a few of his games.
Yeah, we followed a few of his games. I would say just that he, in general, played very solid, but also good chess. It seemed like he was never really in a lot of trouble. We saw that game against Ibarra, where he was winning very convincingly. And also in this last game, he was able to push a little bit without taking too many chances. And often when you see the top players win Title Tuesday, they are at some point in trouble. They need some luck. But today it seemed like he was, at least to quite a large degree, in control in most of his games.
Yeah. Impressive stuff. Sevian ending up on 9.5 points. We're hoping to be joined by Sam Sevian for an interview after his big win. I also see Hospem on that list, our streaming guest in the Dave Cave today, Jose Martinez. It's been up and down, but he ends up on 8 points. That's a good score.
Yeah, I would say that's a good score. Probably not what he had hoped starting today, but 8 points is very solid. And it means that he was able to come back a little bit in the end, despite losing a couple of games. And I think he can come back next week and try to get into the top 10.
Definitely. Also, Martinez, we are still waiting for Sam Sevian. I'm wondering, while we wait, if we can take a look at one of the highlights from the last few rounds. Of course, Hikaru Nakamura, on his birthday, was fighting to win Title Tuesday the entire day, but a few bad results in the end, and he ends up outside top 10. He ends up on 8 points, but one of the highlights today was his game against Lazovic. It had a lot of action, and I'm wondering if we can take a look at that game. maybe later. Maybe later. We could, of course, also take a look at the Champions Chess Tour standings and the Split 2 standings. If Control Room can hear me. Here we are. They hear us, Lucas.
Perfect.
We're not on our own. Look at this. This is standings in the Champions Chess Tour, where, remember, players are fighting to qualify for next year's Esports World Cup with a total prize fund of $1.5 million. Magnus Carlsen is the reigning champion and directly qualified, but he is also on top of the standings. He won Gameweek 1 in Split 2 last week, and he is on a total of 71 points. Hikaru not scoring any points today. He's on 46 points. And we see it as those top 7 right now, since Magnus is directly qualified, who right now is ready for Esports World Cup. But a lot will change as we get closer to summer and the deciding points will be given out. Nepo is still in here, MVL here, and we see Sam Sevian in 10th place now. He is super close.
Exactly, because now he got 10 points, so it makes such a big difference winning in Title Tuesday, and especially since the 8 best results count, getting a win is just so important.
Yeah.
And if he can get some more placements in the top, then he's suddenly catching up a bit and has a chance to qualify.
Wow. And that would, of course, be huge for him, for many players. Huge, huge to qualify for Esports World Cup. Sarana is in there, Duda is in there, Bortnik is in there. Who are you missing on this list right now, Lucas?
Ooh, good question. Maybe Movahed, because he's had a lot of strong performances so far in Title Tuesday. He had 2nd place last week, and we've seen him in the lead many times. He's beaten Magnus, and it would also be so fun to see him at the EWC.
Yeah, it really would. I'm wondering if we can also bring up the Split 2 standings, just to take a look at that. Look at that, yep. Sam Sevian is now in 1st place.
Nice.
Ahead of even Magnus Carlsen. He scored 4 points last week, 10 points today. He is in the lead. Magnus Carlsen didn't play today. He was busy with quarterfinals in freestyle chess. He won against Fabi down in South Africa, but we're hoping, and we actually know he's going to join Title Tuesday next week, trying to score some more points. Don't see Hikaru Nakamura on... well, we do. He's in 6th place, Hikaru Nakamura, of course, after scoring 5 points last week. Sina Movahed is also on this list. 4th place, 7 points. But this is only game week 2. 13 game weeks in each of the splits. So we have a lot of action left in the winter split to decide who wins this one. And remember, top 8 qualifies directly to the Chess.com Global Championship, where top 3 goes directly to Riyadh. There is a lot at stake in the winter split. And the man on top of this list, Sam Sevian, is the winner of Title Tuesday today. He's joining us by Sam. Congratulations today, Sam. If you can hear us. Hey, Sam, can you hear Kaya and Lucas and
Yes,
Oslo?
I can hear.
Hey, Sam.
Yes, I can hear. Sorry.
Congratulations on your win today.
Thank you, thank you. Sorry, the camera just keeps circling and just not turning on. But
Well, I'm very
happy to be.
I'm very glad that we have you at least on, Sam. We're so happy for you. What a fight and what a performance today. How happy are you now?
Yeah, very happy. I was like in very good form early on. I was playing really good games, and towards the end, I mean, I started playing more solid, but still managed to get wins when I had to.
What are you the most happy about today? What clicked for you today? Was it the speed? Was it the intuition?
Definitely intuition. I was playing really good moves really quickly, especially early in the event. Usually, you're spending a lot of time, and it's like comes down to time scrambles, which a couple of games at the end did. But yeah, intuition was good.
Fantastic. What does it mean to you to win Title Tuesday? Now, I checked your scores in Title Tuesday. According to Chess.com, you won it 2 times before, but the last time was in 2020.
Yes, it's been a very long time.
Yeah.
I've had second and third on tiebreak so many times, but I never actually managed to win it until today. So definitely very happy about that.
Wow. And with Title Tuesday now meaning quite a lot, especially in qualification for Esports World Cup, what does it mean to you to take the victory here with huge names like Hikaru playing, Giri playing, MVL playing, Sorana playing? I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many strong players. It's it's definitely the strongest, online Blitz event there is. And I was playing a lot of like over-the-board tournaments during the spring circuit, so I couldn't play. But now I have nothing going on, so I'll try to play as many Title Tuesdays as I can.
Fantastic. And as far as I know, you are getting ready for Doha as well to play World Rapid and Blitz. So is this also nice to get some speed into your hands before that starts?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no better training than playing with the best players in the world. And it's, very fun, good work.
Fantastic. Now, what else is on the plans for you in the future now, Sam? Because we know candidates is, of course, a big thing in World Championship coming up next year. But for you guys who are not playing that, what are you looking forward to?
I'm excited about what the new cycle might be for the candidates because, maybe this Total World Championship will be very, very fun, very good for chess in general. So, I'm just hoping to play more events than I usually do. I usually play like 7, 8 events a year. If I can get that to 10 to 12, I'd be very happy.
How about Esports World Cup? You are now in 10th place in the Champions Chess Tour. You are definitely within range of getting a qualification spot to Esports World Cup. Is that something you will try hard to do?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially if there's nothing else going on, I'll be playing as many events as I can. And definitely one of the goals this year.
Fantastic. Are you going to celebrate? I know it's early for you guys in the US, but are you going to celebrate this?
Yes. It's very early. Honestly, I'll probably just go walk for a couple hours and just enjoy the fresh air.
Enjoy the fresh air. Enjoy your victory. Congratulations, Sam.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. That was the winner of Title Tuesday, Game Week 2 with some impressive play today.
Yeah, very impressed by him today.
Incredible. He wins it for the first time in 5 years, for the third time in his career. Sam Sevian is a Title Tuesday champion. We're going to make a quick shift in the studio to talk to one of our streaming guests. Stay tuned.
Here we go.
All right, we're back, and we're joined by Jose Martinez Jospem in the studio. How are you?
Really good in life.
In life.
In chess.
Today.
Today was crazy Title Tuesday for me because I have a lot of positions, really good position. And I just ended drawing and losing 3 or 4 good positions, like amazing ones.
But you had a strong finish. You came back strong and you finished, as we can see, on the top 20 in 18th place with 8 points. I mean, only 1.5 points behind the winner.
It's not bad. Okay, I like to finish well. I don't like to see myself in top 15. It's because of my ambitions.
Yeah.
I don't know if you check the third game I play. Was a repetition, but it has 2 seconds, and I just sacrifice the queen to just flag, and I lose by mate.
No.
Okay, it was my decision, but I did it bad. I did all bad. I did the wrong checks. It was 1 check for the draw, and I decided to suck. Okay, he's mating me in 1, so I have 2 moves. He has 2 seconds, and I evaluate bad the profile of player. I believe like he will not reach the mate, and he reached the mate with 0.4.
Oh,
That was a big mistake in my third round. That maybe affects the whole tournament.
So to me, as not a chess player and who's never able to play Title Tuesday because I don't have a title, explain that feeling to me when that happens.
I don't know. It was my decision. I had the draw. He calculated really well that if not, I will win for sure at some point. But he forced me to to make that repetition. But he was, I think he's, how to say, not young guy. So that was one of the reasons I decided to just to take the risk. I like to win. I don't like to draw the first rounds. It's always my key of the top 5, top 10 success. But yeah, sometimes fails. Yeah, I need to recalibrate my whole profile of I have every single player. Today that didn't work.
But okay, so is that actually what you do? You check out your opponent and you evaluate his age, his style, if you know, and you make a tactic based on that.
Games I played with him, his current ratio per move.
Yeah.
I evaluate everything. This is more than just chess. I need to evaluate. Even in finish, time control finish, I need to evaluate everything.
Wow.
But yeah, maybe I need to study more.
Wow. Well, I mean, you play some fantastic chess, and you've played now for, Title Tuesday lasts for like 2 hours, 15 minutes, something like that. How are you afterwards, after the 11 rounds? Do you get exhausted?
I think no. I had really interesting games, interesting positions. But I never feel like exhausted. For sure I have jet lag and that stuff. But will be excuse if I say like I had a bad performance today for the jet lag. It's just because... sometimes I can play chess.
You can always blame that. Traveling to Oslo from Mexico, that's a long travel. And you're traveling on. What's your plans now?
I'm going to travel. Tomorrow I'm traveling to Qatar and then India, because in India there is happening the Global Chess League.
Yeah, that's exciting.
I'm not going there as a player. I'm going to as ambassador. I qualify from one of the online qualifiers they bring somehow. I will be doing some simuls, maybe some big meetings or conference.
Yeah.
I think if it's the case, I can play, but if some player absent, but if every player show up, I will be just doing side activities, but also having some time to prepare for World Blitz. So it's a nice time there.
Yeah. Fantastic. World Blitz. What's your ambition in World Rapid and Blitz?
It's my first time I'm playing World Blitz.
Really?
I was intended to play last year, but I have visa issues, and actually I couldn't achieve the American visa. So it's maybe the hardest one in the world to get it.
True. It was in New York last year, yeah.
But now is hopefully in a more easy place to go.
Yeah.
Actually, no visa for Peruvians. I think top 20 in Rapid and top 10 in Blitz will be the normal expectations. Wow. If I want to be more ambitious, like World Cup, I cannot be, because I need to focus. I need to focus in play good chess. If I just focus in the result, I will do not great. So, if I want to compare to achieve the same goal or to surpass the World Cup result, my expectations will be top 10 in Rapid and top 4 in Blitz. But this is crazy.
Yeah, do you allow yourself to dream, to envision yourself with a medal around your neck or a world championship title?
Every single tournament I play, like with the strongest players in the world, I believe more in myself. Yeah. I know where I need to work. I know that they are still human. I can beat him. I can beat them. Maybe not Magnus every time, but the others, I can. They have a lot of weaknesses. Okay, I feel Magnus is in a natural, amazing player. I mean, natural because he's natural. Chess is in their body, in their mind. But with the others, I know like they know a lot of chess, but everyone has weaknesses.
Yeah.
So unless I don't play with Magnus, I will have a really nice tournament if it's my day. If it's my day, it's my day. I hope in Blitz tournament, also in Rapid, will be my day. If I combine this with good preparation, good form, and amazing support, everything can happen.
Lucas told a story before the show today, or before Title Tuesday started, from World Championship Under 18 in 2017.
In Uruguay.
Yeah, when you guys both played.
I also played there, yeah.
I start with 103.
Yeah,
and that's the story
saying,
you tell. Yeah. And then you made a comeback and you won the whole thing. And this seems to be something that happens a lot to you. You must be very strong mentally. You make these comebacks. It doesn't seem like you care about bad starts. You're just resourceful. You fight on, and then you end up on top.
But I think that situation was a special situation for a lot of things. When I did that comeback, was because like Hikaru, I didn't care anymore about the tournament. I just want to play good chess, and that happens. After that, I win 6 games in a row. I drew the 10th game and I won the last one.
Fantastic.
It's because I was just forgetting about expectations, about the results. Also, that tournament was a big and important, maybe crucial event in my career because I was out of chess. I quit chess in that tournament. 2 years ago, I quit chess.
Really?
I just played that tournament because what will be my last youth under 18 championship. I didn't prepare anything. I was in university doing my journalism exams, journalism tasks in every single course I have. And I went there also because some private company of Peru supports me in hotels. So everything was combining excellent. And that's why I start with one of 3 because I was not prepared. I was not informed, but somehow something appears.
And then you were hungry to...
I must say that if I don't achieve my last norm there, if I don't recover from the painful start, I will finish my journalism career. I for sure know Jospin will exist in chess.
Yeah, fantastic.
Sure.
Wow.
One more thing that you also talked about before Title Tuesday started today in an interview was this whole thing with Kramnik that must have affected you a lot when that was going on, and the clash of claims and how he had these claims against you, and you definitely made your point and proved him wrong in your match together. Now, obviously, a few months ago, Grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky died in extremely tragic ways. And Kramnik has been the talking point again after that. What was your reaction to that whole thing, having also been under fire from Vladimir Kramnik? Okay,
when I that day I remember because I wake up at, I don't know, 9 a.m. It was like the sofa. And I always check my phone, like every single social media. I don't know. I'm addicted. And then I saw the Charlotte Chess Club publishing like a photo and, the typical year, like born in year. And then what happened? Oh, it's a joke. It's April Fool. Then I tried to find other source, other confirmation. That was crazy because he was playing the Comet Open Arena, Open finals of the Comet tournament, and 1 day ago. So, when I saw that, I was trying to explain that some physical problems, some health issues he covered for a lot, but I never. Because when the Chess.com films one of the videos of me in my house, I actually play with Naroditsky in some casual match in 3-0. He didn't, because it was the Kramnik issue. He told me like, actually I make a joke like, Kramnik should like arbiter our match like joke. I never see him like getting affected, but at that time I think he was not the aim of their focus of Kramnik focus. After that, as I said in the interview, he has a lot of roles in chess. He was not a player, maybe 10% player. He was commentator, coach, coordinator, everything like of Chess.com, of his club, everything. And so, as a no chess player, like official main chess player, competitive chess player, I was not thinking he will be affected because if you are not competing, like you should not care. If for sure you shouldn't care anything about Kramnik, what he says, but mainly him. Like he knows, everyone knows him. He play online chess since 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Everyone knows who he is. He's for sure a strong GM. He has weaknesses, He can lose, he can win, he can make a good tournament. But I don't know. As I said in the interview you give me, every single person has different ways to appreciate or see the life, see the things, see the situations. I think for him, maybe for Navarra, one accusation could be in his mind. I don't know how his mind works, their mind works. I don't know, it's weird to say that, death threat, no? Like they can how to say, maximize that thing. Like they can, make these things take that things a lot seriously, no?
Yeah.
In my case, I don't want to compare. Okay, Mexico. South America is a difficult country. Okay, it's difficult to live. It's difficult to surpass, to have success in something. You are. It's normal for you to have really bad days and bad years. Imagine if I need to respond Kramnik issues. Okay, the only thing I did is, you want to play, we want to play. If you want to make the match with all your nice things, with your laptops, etc. You can do it. I just want to play. I show I can beat him even without my best form. He doesn't care. He still wants to continue. But I just wanted to show with the match. I just don't care about what he expect, what he claim, what he is. I just can beat you, and that's all. For sure, it affects me a lot of things. I will not say how much affects me before that, after that. Maybe other episode, but for sure I'm strong. Like I that was the worst chess experience.
Can you imagine?
Maybe after that I saw chess in different view, and unfortunately not positive way. I try to, but okay, people encouraged me to play the match. I was not wanted to play the match. I just wanted to say Kramnik, no bad things in social media. But then people, okay, Mexico likes to don't care about anything. You know? Wants to fight, wants to show, wants to prove your courage. You know? That's why that's something like Mexico show me, helps me to show like, okay, I'm strong. Like I cannot be scared about what you are saying. Okay, you are former world champion, but okay, I can beat you. Chess is chess. You can know a lot of things, but still I know enough chess to beat you. I show you. If you are keep talking, we don't care. We see life in other things. We see life in other ways. We can face even hardest situations than you can bring in my life. So that helps me to confront that situation in other way. And as I said, not every person confronts a situation in the same way, because they don't maybe have this experience. They don't have this help of other people, of friends, or the current environment to encourage you to say, okay, that's all, that's the end. Don't say anything. Would you want to play? Let's play. But yeah, for me, what's crazy that I know like people kind get affected in other ways, but not at that point. I was affected. I don't have any words. I just, at the first moment, I wanted to explain without this former world champion influence, but then when this appeared, okay, I just was completely understanding more the situation. But what can I say? It's crazy, you know. It's maybe, as I said in the interview, if Kramnik beats me, somehow he can beat me like 10-3, 10-2, like crush in the match. Will be the same situation for me, but for sure I will know like I will somehow confront that situation in a good manner. I will just show my strength in other tournament, in other event. If just Kramnik crush me in that match, and for sure many people will believe him just because that momentum, but for sure I will find a way to reverse this situation. Hopefully that didn't happen. And as I said in the interview, but don't take me seriously, I stopped him for a moment just to be quiet.
Yep.
But somehow this doesn't change his mind somehow.
Well, That's a very emotional and strong story you tell us there, Jose. You said the whole situation took away some of your love for chess, the sport, maybe the community, or at least some people in it, of course. What is your relationship to the game now? Is it a game you want to play for years and years to come, something you love, or are you unsure about the future?
With the context that I'm being sponsored last year, since December of 2024, my goals are totally professional. I'm aiming for the best results in the best scenarios, the best world championship tournaments I can play, like World Cup, this Qatar tournament, and end of the year. The next year I will try for sure all the tournaments, the strong tournaments organizer can invite me or I can play. I'm now with the game of chess in a professional way. I'm doing my best. I'm training the best I can, and I want to show the best I can my strength. If I don't have this sponsorship, as I told my generous, the generous person who is supporting me in amazing ways, tax business, who is now in my short.
Fantastic.
I will not continue in chess. 90%, because will be economically, financially impossible to play, to just invest in yourself and go to Europe, play tournaments. Most, if you are a South American, Latin American player, it's harder. For sure, I will continue play just few tournaments in Mexico, that's all. But I will just make a transition to other things, maybe some businesses, some other stuff. These years, I will try to, how to say it, to do my best in this momentum I have with World Cup, with my rating, classical rating, Blitz rating, until the last moment I get supported. I will do my best to show the support its worth is valuable. I'm representing Mexico, I'm representing Latin America. It's not just the support, I'm representing the whole continent. And until I can do my best, if the people who support me saw that I am not doing, I have a limit, I will just accept it. But until that moment, I'm doing my best.
And well, for now, you're playing some fantastic chess as well. Amazing stuff in the World Cup. You're doing super well in Title Tuesday. We really hope you keep playing Title Tuesdays, streaming. Sure. I know you have a lot of fans that hope you will continue with that. I'll say thank you so much for coming to Oslo from streaming from the Dave Cave today. I hope you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed, yeah, because as you have a lot of your environment, how you treat chess, how you support chess, all these things. You are years away from what Latin America should do, but I hope we are in the way to do chess more popular, more entertaining.
Yeah.
Have more countries, more companies can join these big projects you have. Other projects can appear and make chess more like easy to everybody.
Yeah. And I mean, with the talent that you have from South Africa, the Messi of chess, for example, help me. Faustino Oro, of course. Messi of chess from Argentina.
Big influence.
Exactly. I mean, it feels like South America, and the chess hype there can get back to, the Capablanca era. Maybe.
Yeah, we are. It's difficult with the institutions, but some special characters, special players will appear from time to time. Depends of the federations if they want more Faustinos or more strong players like, I don't know, me or other 2,600 players there are in South America, Central America, and Mexico.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, thank you again so much for being here. We wish you best of luck, both in India, but also, of course, in Doha in the World Rapid Blitz.
Thank you so much. Thank you to you.
Lucas, thank you for guiding us through Title Tuesday today.
Yeah,
was it good?
Course. It was a lot of fun, actually. Yeah, enjoyed it a lot.
Glad to hear. And now it's back to your Excel sheets and daily operations and running take.
Back to the normal stuff. That would be good as well. But hopefully can come back in here at some point.
Yeah, definitely. And Title Tuesday is not going to be back to normal next week. We're actually going on the road. We're taking this whole studio and we're bringing it to Stockholm for a huge event together with Magnus Carlsen. He will be streaming and playing from that location. That's happening next week. Title Tuesday, Game Week 3 in the Winter Split will be a very special one. So do join us again next week for more Title Tuesday fun. Congratulations to Sam Sevian on winning Game Week 2, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.
Hikaru finds a tactical trick. There was a blunder there, and the queen will fall.
Eventually, it is a draw between two giants, Artemiev and Hikaru. Huge moment now for Alexei Sarana, better on the bar. Can he do it in time? Can he do it in time? Eventually, it's a draw!
Is he going to be able to do anything in time here? That looks like checkmate.
And it's looking very, very good.
Bringing the king out for
Holy
a walk
cow,
here.
that's brave. Oh, red clocks, red clocks.
And he wins.
And it's over. He wins on the board, he wins on the clock. Big, big win for Denis Lazovic.
Here we go.